Chapter 4780. Huang Tong shrugged and flapped her wings. She seemed to be laughing and sobbing at the same time. After a while Huang Tong said, "Fellow Taoist Shao, you want to say it, but can the Ice Phoenix Avatar understand?" "Aye, that's true." Xiao Hua sighed. "Not everyone is as lucky as me, and not every bloodline avatar is as lucky as you." "What a pity, what a pity." Huang Tong recited, "When you were born, I was not born. When I was born, you were old. You hate that I was born late. I hate that you were born early. When you were born, I was not born. When I was born, you were old. I hate that we were born at the same time. When I was born, you were not born. When you were born, I was old. When I was away from you, you were separated by me. When I was born, you were not born. When you were born, I was old. When I turned into a phoenix, I went to find a phoenix. Every night I stayed in the parasol tree." "Good poem." Xiaohua clapped. "I didn't expect you to be comparable to the Thunderbolt Immortal. If the Ice Phoenix Avatar heard this poem, she would probably pounce on you." "This poem is ordinary." The Thunderbolt Immortal opened his eyes and said, "I'll teach you one line." "One line?" Huang Tong asked curiously, "Which one?" "When your phoenix feathers reach your body, can I marry you?" The Thunderbolt Immortal said. Xiaohua smiled and pointed at the Thunderbolt Immortal. "It's called, Why Worry About Breaking the Willow Village Bridge? Let it be. The candle is gone, the song is dim. The cold chrysanthemum's soulless fragrance is hard to wither. Afraid of the Milky Way's high waves, the evening smoke is hot. Last year the swallow returned to the nest early. The small building played alone to the moon. The red dress spread across the 10-mile bridge, the 1,000 miles of Cloud Mountain alone, the envy of the neighboring village. When my hair reaches my waist, is the young man from afar good? Accompany you for life? This is what Princess Qingqing taught you. I'm not telling you." The Thunderbolt Immortal closed his eyes and ignored the two. "Haha, fellow Taoist Thunderbolt is really interesting." Huang Tong laughed at the Thunderbolt Immortal's words. "Since the Fortune Gate second Old Master has come out, then please invite the fourth Old Master to come out." Xiao Hua smiled faintly. As soon as Nanwu Maitreya Buddha World Sovereign came out of the space, Buddhist light immediately overflowed. In the void, countless power of faith flowed like a gurgling stream and fell into Maitreya Buddha World Sovereign's body. Boom. Unsurprisingly, Maitreya Buddha World Sovereign's figure also swelled, and it also turned into a Dharma image with a big belly and a small face. "Haha, the revered one of the world's Dharma idol looks like this? How strange, how interesting." Huang Tong had never seen Maitreya Buddha before. Now that she saw it, she couldn't help but laugh so hard that she almost fell from the sky. Namo Maitreya Buddha. Maitreya Buddha's Dharma form was formed. He looked around and saw everything clearly. His face instantly showed mercy as he chanted, "Is this the demon realm?" "That's right, this is the 10,000 demon realm, the revered one." When Xiao Hua saw the revered one of the world reveal his Dharma, a kind of benevolence and supremacy was born. He didn't dare to be negligent and hastily answered. "Humans are Buddhas, demons are Buddhas, spirits are Buddhas, demons are also Buddhas." Maitreya Buddha said in a low voice, "Since this is the demon realm, it could also be the 10,000 Buddhas' kingdom. I, as the future Buddha Lord, make a great promise. I will be born here, start the Buddha river, pass down the Buddha Dharma and spread the Buddha light. Namo Dipankara Archaic Buddha, Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Maitreya Buddha." In an instant, Buddhist chants resounded in the void, and countless Buddhist lights manifested. Layers of Sanskrit text mixed with golden Swanee text soared into the sky, forming a gigantic swastika character that soared into the 9 heavens. After a moment, the faint Buddhist lights slowly descended like fireflies, disappearing from the world. As the Buddha light disappeared, the Maitreya Buddha's Dharma idol gradually converged and returned to its original form. Namo Maitreya Buddha congratulates the revered one. Xiao Hua clasped his hands together and bowed. "There is no joy nor sorrow. It is both suffering and cultivation." Maitreya Buddha returned the bow. Huang Tong was a little confused and hurriedly asked, "Revered one, what does this mean?" "Nothing." Maitreya Buddha smiled and said, "I am about to complete the cultivation of the first transformation golden body. After I enter the heavenly gate, I will enter the Buddhist kingdom. Different from Xiao Tanyue's ascension, I will give birth to 9 golden bodies and re-enter the 9 realms to cultivate the second transformation golden body. The 3 continents are where I condense the first transformation golden body. There will definitely be 1 golden body. The other 8 golden bodies will go to different realms. Of course, these realms must have Buddha light and the lotus pond to condense the golden body. But if I make a great wish, I can descend to a realm without Buddha light like the 10,000 demon realm and establish the foundation of Buddhism from nothing. I will wait for the golden body of the Buddha Lord to descend. Hey, isn't the revered one the past Buddha Lord? Huang Tong asked curiously. For now, isn't that the future? Maitreya Buddha smiled and said. Huang Tong shook her head and said, forget it, forget it. I won't play games with you. I know it's a very difficult thing. If others see it, it's naturally difficult. Maitreya Buddha smiled and said, but in my eyes it's easy. With that said, Maitreya Buddha took out the water bottle and handed it to Xiao Hua and said, I wonder if Bodhisattva can give me some water from the lotus pond. Xiao Hua smiled faintly, took the clear water bottle, took some of the lotus pond water from the space, and returned it to Maitreya Buddha. Revered one, did you also take the merit of the current Buddha Lord? Merit or not, it really doesn't matter. Maitreya Buddha replied faintly, let my Buddha light shine on the 10,000 demon realm as soon as possible, that's the most important thing. Namo Maitreya Buddha. Xiao Hua chanted the name of Buddha, looked around and sighed, the revered one's great wish is comparable to Jianghu. If you want this 10,000 demon realm to be filled with temples, I'm afraid it will be difficult for you to complete the second transformation golden body. The great wish of the world is not as good as the great wish of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. This is nothing. Maitreya Buddha looked at the barren land and strange beasts around and didn't particularly care. Instead he asked, Bodhisattva, have you not found a place that can accommodate Bodhisattva along the way? Xiao Hua shook his head and said with some worry, not only that, we were almost caught by a demon beast that was about the 10th level of elemental force. It's okay. Maitreya Buddha smiled and said, the world is so big, it's impossible for there to be no place for Bodhisattva. Just look. Revered one. Xiao Hua smiled bitterly and said, it's not that this disciple doesn't want to look, it's that this disciple doesn't have time to look. This disciple needs to quickly find the space passage to the Xiaoyu continent. Chapter 4781. With that, Xiao Hua took out the Kunlun mirror, and with a wave of his hand, he pulled out the little white dragon. As soon as the little white dragon came out of the space, his entire dragon body immediately swelled up, and layers of heaven and earth yuan qi turned into dragon runes and rushed into his dragon body. Roar. Little white dragon roared, rushed to the sky, hovered for a moment and just wanted to fly a circle in the distance, but after flying 100 miles he immediately flew back obediently, and shouted in front of Xiao Hua. Big brother, we finally arrived at the 10,000 demon realm, where is this place? Why does it look so unfamiliar? Just now, there was a powerful demon beast that threatened me. Where is this place? Xiao Hua didn't know whether to laugh or cry and said, I called you out to ask you where this place is. Why are you asking me instead? Could it be that your memory hasn't recovered yet? Big brother. The little white dragon said with a smile, you think too highly of me. When I was in the 10,000 demon realm, I was just a python, living a life that didn't go out of the door. To be honest, if I didn't have the opportunity to obtain Long Yu and then met Ming Hua, I'm afraid I wouldn't even know which demon realm I was living in. You asked me where this is, how would I know? Damn. Xiao Hua felt a headache coming on. He recalled what the little white dragon had said to him when it was cultivating with Taoist sorcerer in the 9 heavens of spirit origin. He smiled bitterly and said, didn't you say it before? There are a lot of secrets in the 10,000 demon realm that you didn't want to tell me before because you were afraid that I would be distracted. How come now? You don't know anything? Big brother. The little white dragon also defended, at that time your cultivation was still shallow, what could I tell you? There were a lot of cultivation methods that I naturally couldn't tell you. But who knew, after 100 years, you suddenly became a top expert, how could I still dare to play around in front of you? As for the secrets of the 10,000 demon realm, I seem to know some, but wasn't it sealed at that time? I'm not sure either. I thought it wouldn't be too late to tell you after I break the seal. But now that I think about it, those secrets are meaningless to you now. Hearing little white dragon say that he was a python that had never seen the world, Xiao Hua immediately understood that little white dragon's background was similar to his, a country bumpkin that had never seen the world, so he nodded and said, all right. Let's not talk about this for now. Didn't you travel with Ming Hua in the 10,000 demon realm? Don't tell me you didn't gain anything? Big brother, don't mention it. Little white dragon sounded like he was about to cry as he complained, little brother obtained the incomplete dragon jade by chance, but little brother doesn't know how to cultivate it. Thus, I racked my brains to seek guidance from a demon-level expert. However, there aren't many demon-level experts that I can find. These demon-level experts don't know how to recognize treasures, so they can't see the cultivation method in the dragon jade. So they are all little brother, I lied to them. Later, little brother finally found an earth stage expert. That earth stage expert saw that there was something wrong with the dragon jade, but he didn't understand it, so he brought little brother to find a star stage expert. In the end, that star stage expert saw the power of the dragon transformation art and wanted to take it for himself. After he killed that earth stage expert and wanted to interrogate little brother about where he got the dragon jade, Minghua appeared. That star stage expert didn't say anything and hurriedly fled, causing Minghua to be baffled. After Minghua obtained the dragon transformation art, he also had the heart to cultivate it, so he brought little brother with him. He also made it very clear to little brother that he could guide little brother's cultivation, but he had to cultivate the dragon transformation art first. As long as he cultivated the dragon transformation art, little brother would have to leave him. Of course, Minghua is a man of his words. He didn't hide anything about the cultivation of the dragon transformation art. Whatever little brother asked, he would answer. However, if little brother didn't ask, he wouldn't say at all. Little white dragon continued. Furthermore, little brother traveled with him. Actually, little brother was brought by him most of the time, coming and going in the wind and clouds. Little brother doesn't know where we went at all. And little brother was engrossed in cultivation at that time. Who knows where we went? As for the spatial passageway that leads to the Dawn Rain continent, it's a place not far from the Huatian realm. Minghua cultivated there, so little brother knows. Xiaohua looked at little white dragon's anxious look and nodded. So that's the case, I understand. You don't have to blame yourself either. When big brother finds the Huatian realm, I'll call you out. Oh, right, if you're willing to stay by big brother's side, big brother is also willing to bring you along. Goodbye. Little white dragon shrunk his neck and said, I'd better return to the Kunlun wonderland. The sea there is azure blue and calm. It's much better than here. All right. Xiaohua waved his hand to take little white dragon back. But at this moment, little white dragon suddenly shouted, Oh right, big brother, I heard Minghua say that there's a place called Feihong Wasteland in the far east of the Huatian realm. He doesn't dare to go there easily. Do you think this place is Feihong Wasteland? If it is, big brother can fly directly to the west and probably reach the Huatian realm. Xiaohua was overjoyed and asked, Where is the west? Little white dragon pointed in a direction and said, The direction of the 10,000 demon realm is different from the 3 continents and the Dawn Rain continent. Hao Yang's position is east, the position where the sun sits is west. Hao Yang's left hand facing the sun is south, and his right hand is west. What about at night? Xiaohua suddenly asked. At night? Little white dragon was stunned and shook his head. I don't know. Good. Xiaohua nodded and waved the Kunlun mirror to keep little white dragon into the space. He looked at Mithria Buddha and Huang Tong helplessly. Looks like we're in big trouble. Fellow Taoist only knows now. Huang Tong laughed. Not to mention little white dragon is unreliable. I reckon that Dai is also unreliable. Don't be in a hurry to fly to the east. Let's ask Dai first. Dai came out of the space and could no longer maintain her human form. Shua. She returned to her swan demon form in the air. Looking at Dai's graceful figure and her proud neck, Xiaohua smiled and said, No wonder you and the Empress can transform into beautiful women. It turns out that your bodies are also so beautiful. Thank you for your praise, sect master. Dai flew freely in the air for a moment, as if she was breathing in the yearning of her hometown. Then she landed and replied respectfully. Dai, now that we've reached the 10,000 demon realm, I'm going to the Huatian realm. Do you know how to get there? Xiaohua asked. When she heard the Huatian realm, Dai was stunned. She didn't understand if Xiaohua happened to be there or if he knew something. However, Dai was already prepared. She whispered, I'll let master know. I've already seen it just now. This place is very unfamiliar. I don't know and can't tell master. Moreover, the Huatian realm that master is talking about. I don't know. Chapter 4782. Forget about the Huatian boundary. Where is Demon King Mo Sa's Tsangyuan boundary in the 10,000 demon realm? Huang Tong asked impatiently. Dai hurriedly replied, It seems to be in the northeast of the 10,000 demon realm. Sai, is there a map similar to the Xiaoyu continent in the 10,000 demon realm? Xiaohua sighed and asked. Seeing Xiaohua's disappointment, Dai was anxious, but she still hesitated. There seems to be, but I'm not sure. I've only heard a few words from the Empress. Then do you know about the Great Wasteland? Xiao Hua asked straightforwardly. The Great Wasteland? Dai was stunned and asked curiously, Senior knows about the Great Wasteland? I didn't say it was the Great Wasteland. Xiao Hua laughed. I'm only asking if you know. I don't know. Dai answered honestly. Xiao Hua glanced at Huang Tong, both of their eyes were filled with helplessness. Maitreya Buddha smiled. Dai? Then do you know from the Empress or the other demons in the Qianfu Palace that there are any dangers in the 10,000 demon realm? Oh, I remember now. Dai suddenly said in surprise. When I was in the Imosa Palace, I heard from the Empress that Demon King Imosa once went to the north of the Tsangyuan boundary, a place called the Dripping Dew Wasteland, and was injured there. The Empress also said that fortunately it was the Dripping Dew Wasteland. If it was the Dripping Dew Wasteland in the southwest, I'm afraid I would have lost half of my life. Then what is between these two wastelands and the Tsangyuan boundary? Maitreya Buddha asked again. It should be the sea. Dai rolled her eyes and replied, It seems to be called the Blue Jade Sea. Xiao Hua looked at the two suns that were about to set and said, If I ask you to return to the Heavenly Blessing Palace in the Sky Rain boundary, can you go back? Dai knew that Xiao Hua was not probing but looking for the direction. She did not hide it and shook her head. I can't. The sky is the same as the ground. There are many flying beasts. Their territory is the sky. Even if I know the direction, I don't dare to fly over it. In other words, you don't know where the Heavenly Blessing Palace is, even with the sun as a reference? Huang Tong was also worried and asked. Yes, I really can't tell. Dai said apologetically. I've made a fool of myself. It's nothing. Xiao Hua laughed. I'll think of something myself. Oh, by the way, how is Yuanya's cultivation? Reporting to Master, there was a strange spatial fluctuation earlier, causing you to experience a slight deviation. But now he's fine. Dai hurriedly reported. When Xiao Hua left Yuanshi Reef Plain, he didn't bring any of his disciples with him, only Yuanya. Not only because he had promised to let Yuanya accompany Dai to save Empress Xianhuan, but also because Yuanya was refining the Devil Spear. Xiao Hua was really worried. Alright, you can go back first. Xiao Hua activated the Kunlun mirror, and the light pillar enveloped Dai. He said, Think about it carefully. If you think of anything, report it immediately. Yes, Master. Dai bowed and returned to Xinhua Continent. We're in trouble. Huang Tong shook her head and said, Little White Dragon said that there was a great wilderness in the east of Huatian boundary. Dai said that there were two wastelands. One was called Lili Wasteland, north of Tsangyuan boundary. The other was called Bo Bo Wasteland, southwest of Tsangyuan boundary. Ming Hua is a great sage of the 10,000 demon realm. This Huatian boundary should be in a place where there are more demons in the 10,000 demon realm. Demon King Emosa's Tsangyuan boundary shouldn't be too far away. Let's put the two places together for the time being. In other words, if we can't determine where we are now, no matter if we go east, west, north, or south, it's possible to reach Huatian boundary. Yes. Xiao Hua said helplessly, we can reach Huatian boundary in any direction, which means that anyone can reach the depths of the wasteland in any direction. These wastelands are places that even the great sages of the 10,000 demon realm don't dare to enter. We should just forget about it. Then where should we go? Huang Tong also had no idea. Don't worry. Xiao Hua's heart moved and he thought of something. He waved his hand and took Xiaogua out of the space. Xiaogua fell in midair, and there was no special change. Her body swayed and she first revealed her original body, and then a moment later she turned back into her human form. Greetings, Master. Xiaogua looked at Huang Tong and the others timidly and bowed to Xiao Hua. Xiaogua. Xiao Hua ordered, This is the 10,000 demon realm. This old man wants to go to the Huatian realm. Go and ask the spirit clan nearby if they know the Huatian realm or if they know where this place is where this old man should go. Yes, Master. Xiaogua did not dare to delay, and her body fell and she disappeared into the ground. Unfortunately, in the time it took to finish a meal, Xiaogua returned with a look of fear on her face. She said respectfully, Master, you should know that the spirit race people here cannot be considered spirit race people and do not have any special intelligence. Some of them are ignorant and do not even know where they are. Moreover, these spirit clan are very fierce. I can't get anything out of them. So I understand you can go back. Xiaogua's words were not out of Xiao Hua's expectations. He waved his hand and put Xiaogua into the space and looked at Huang Tong helplessly. Fellow Taoist, there is no need to say more. This is definitely one of the 3 wastelands. Otherwise, it is impossible for there to be so many spirit clan without intelligence. It is a pity that we do not know where this wasteland is. It is only in this mountain and we do not know where it is. Huang Tong shook her head and said, "It seems that we are at our wits' end. Let's invite everyone out first." Xiao Hua said, "Let's invite the Fortune Gate's 5th master." The Phoenix Parasol was invited out of the space by Xiao Hua. Once it was out of the space, it immediately stretched out its neck and let out a long cry. As it flapped its wings, the star patterns on its wings lit up, and it fell into the sky and turned into a clear star. Swoosh! The originally dusky sky suddenly darkened. The starry sky seemed to have been forcibly pulled out by a big hand. One after another, the stars twinkled with different colors of starlight, revealing themselves. As for the 2 suns, they were now 2 huge outlines. One had orange edges and the other had golden edges. Opposite the 2 suns were the outlines of 3 full moons. Similarly, one had blue edges, one had purple edges, and the last one had dark gold edges. Then, boom boom boom. Huge rumbling sounds rang out in the surrounding 10,000 miles. Pillars of starlight and moonlight fell from the sky, landing on the Phoenix Parasol's body. The Phoenix Parasol's demonic body suddenly expanded again. Moreover, as it expanded, the Phoenix Parasol's demonic beast body became thinner, as if it was melting under the power of the stars and moon. Layers of desolate aura, more ferocious than mountains and seas, rushed out in all directions. Chapter 4783. Huang Tong was stunned and exclaimed, "Phoenix Sage. What kind of aphrodisiac did she take? Why is she so fierce?" Looking at the star pillar that descended from the sky, the faint star patterns were as beautiful as fluttering feathers. Xiao Hua already knew what Feng Wu had encountered. He hurriedly waved his hand and said, "Let's go. This is not something we can interfere with. It's better to leave first." Another proud cry of a phoenix resounded from the Phoenix Wu's nearly transparent body. A terrifying aura rushed into the world along with the cry of the phoenix. When this sound fell into Huang Tong's ears, Huang Tong was terrified as if she had seen a ghost. Without waiting for Xiao Hua to say anything, she immediately flapped her wings and flew into the distance. Then Xiao Hua, Thunder Immortal and Buddha Maitreya also urged their figures to leave. While Xiao Hua and the others were flying away, somewhere in the sky of the 10,000 demon realm, there was a mysterious place. This place was originally overflowing with clear light. Layers of mysterious laws of heaven and earth flowed around the clear light like fish. Under this clear light, there was probably a place thousands of miles away. A colorful phoenix flapped its wings and really swept across the sky. It was at this moment that the originally flowing clear light suddenly cracked like a bubble. At the same time, 9-colored light gushed out like a fountain and spread in all directions. The laws of the world condensed into clusters of heavenly flowers in the 9-colored light and went against the flow to crash into the cracked void. Boom! A dull roar came from the void. Circles of space waves more violent than the waves of the sea slammed into the heaven and earth. The 5-colored phoenix that was originally like a meteor across the sky was immediately attracted by this strange phenomenon. After the waves rushed over, a simple-looking crown suddenly appeared on the 5-colored phoenix's phoenix head. The 5-colored phoenix's figure immediately stopped in midair. She raised her head in shock and looked at the almost invisible place. She exclaimed, "Ah? The holy list has appeared? Could it be that another great saint has appeared in the 10,000 demon realm?" After the 5-colored phoenix exclaimed, she looked left and right, and a mysterious smile appeared on her face. She muttered to herself, "Haha, what a coincidence. I happened to pass by the saint ranking today and I'm the first one to see it. I want to see which spirit tribe has produced a great sage." While speaking, the 5-colored phoenix let out a clear cry, flapped its wings and disappeared into the void. When it reappeared, it was already not far away from the 9-colored flowing light. And at this time, in the 9-colored void, a massive stone tablet was slowly reaching out from the dark void. The void was inexplicably strange, and the stone tablet emitted a boundless aura. Every inch the stone tablet reached out, space would collapse a little. Layers of profound meanings fell into space, forming a prison that was 1,000 miles wide. It was this prison that kept the 5-colored phoenix outside of the stone tablet. Outside of the prison, the stone tablet looked like a huge monster. Only the 9-colored flashes could be seen, and its true appearance could not be seen clearly. The 5-colored phoenix waited for a moment. Demonic aura surged around her, and the feathers on her wings shone brilliantly. When the brilliance and demonic aura rushed into the crown on her head, The crown also glowed with a brilliance similar to the 9 colors. Whoa! The brilliance fell into the prison and a whirlwind was born from the prison. It fell on the body of the 5-colored phoenix, and immediately imprisoned her. The 5-colored phoenix that was imprisoned was no longer the size of 1,000 feet. From the outside she looked like a small sparrow. The 5-colored phoenix fell into the prison, and was met with the majestic will of heaven and earth. More than half of the huge stone tablet had been revealed, and a huge saint was gradually appearing on the surface of the stone tablet. Most of the aura that suppressed the 5-colored phoenix was emitted from the word saint. Yes. The 5-colored phoenix felt such a surging aura, and could not help but gasp. She almost cried out in surprise, "Why? Why is the aura of the holy list so strong this time? This great saint that is about to be born. What is his strength? Could it be that he can surpass the confinement of heaven and earth in my 10,000 demon realm?" Boom boom boom. Before the 5-colored phoenix's surprised voice could land, the stone tablet was completely revealed. The entire prison was trembling, and the 5-colored phoenix's body could not help but sway. Although the 5-colored phoenix could not stand firmly in midair, her phoenix eyes were still staring at the gradually disappearing word saint on the stone tablet. She wanted to see what kind of monster appeared in the 10,000 demon realm to have such momentum. Ka. Just as the word saint disappeared, the laws of heaven and earth were born in the void. The laws of heaven and earth condensed into lightning, and the entire stone tablet was trembling. A line of words that stunned the 5-colored phoenix appeared on the stone tablet. This is impossible? One could see that the stone wall was already densely covered with names. Each name emitted an aura that looked down on the world. However, when the words that were even blacker and heavier than the strange names appeared, the aura of all the names was suppressed. This row of words was, Feng Wu of the Phoenix Clan. How is this possible? How is this possible? The 5-colored phoenix was incoherent. A great saint appeared in the phoenix tribe. Why? Why didn't I know? Of course, in just a moment the 5-colored phoenix calmed down. She immediately understood and whispered, "This great saint of the phoenix tribe must not be from the 10,000 demon realm. He must be from the outer realm. No, could it be? This Phoenix Wu is him? Could it be that he has returned? No, I must find this Phoenix Wu Grand Sage before the Fire Phoenix Grand Sage." As she spoke, the 5-colored phoenix hurriedly moved her body, trying to escape from the space sealed by the saint ranking. However, at this moment something strange happened again. Rumble. Countless tiny fluctuations rushed out from the heavens and earth like lightning, rushing into the stone tablet like tadpoles looking for their mother. Gotcha. Under the impact of this impact, cracks actually appeared on the stone tablet. Ah? The holy list is broken? The 5-colored phoenix's expression changed drastically. She stopped in her tracks and stared at the stone tablet with even more disbelief than before. Rumble rumble rumble. Another huge rumbling sound was emitted from the empty space. Layers of unknown pitch-black aura surged out from the empty space and landed on the stone tablet. The cracks on the stone wall quickly disappeared. Moreover, the tens of thousands of lightning bolts fell into the pitch-black aura and were quickly annihilated. When all the lightning bolts disappeared, the pitch-black aura had also completely disappeared. The 5-colored phoenix looked at all this in confusion. This was a strange phenomenon that she had never seen or heard of before. Chapter 4784. Crack crack crack. Not long after the pitch-black aura disappeared, the laws of heaven and earth appeared in the void again. The laws of heaven and earth condensed into lightning, and the entire stone tablet trembled again. Then another line of words appeared on the stone tablet. Oh, how is this possible? The 5-colored phoenix could not remember how many times she said the same thing today. She just looked at the words on the stone tablet again and was shocked. Because these words were, Dragon Clan Chi. Just these 3 words were enough to knock the 5-colored phoenix out. After half a cup of tea's time, she came back to her senses and screamed as if she had seen a ghost. Since when did the Dragon Clan exist in the 10,000 demon realm? How is this possible? At this point, she no longer hesitated and hurriedly moved her body out of the range of the saint rankings. She looked around and thought to herself, needless to say, the great sage of the Dragon Clan and the great sage of the Phoenix Clan must have come to the 10,000 demon realm hand in hand. This will definitely set off endless waves in the 10,000 demon realm. At this time, the great sages of the various clans have not received the news of the saint rankings. I must find it as soon as possible. Just as the 5-colored phoenix was about to move her body, suddenly, her body shook again. She looked at the sky in the southwest and asked curiously, why is there such a strange fluctuation of stars and moon in the Bo wasteland? Yes. In just a moment, the five-colored phoenix understood again and sucked in a breath of cold air. Today is really strange. This must be that Phoenix Wu and Dragon Clan Chi advancing into the Great Sage Realm. They have not completely advanced. How can they leave their names on the saint rankings? So, it could really be that person. I remember that he said something a long time ago. Something secret. Forget it. Quickly send a message to the Phoenix Palace and ask the Phoenix Emissary to go to the Bo wasteland at all costs. Maybe we can find the two great sages before the other saints. Then the five-colored phoenix moved away from the saint rankings and went to give the order. As for Xiao Hua and the others, they flew for half an hour before they escaped from the terrifying aura. Damn it. Huang Tong cursed in her heart. Could this be the legendary supreme demon phoenix in the Shenyuan space? Why is he here? Inside the body of the Phoenix Wu? Demonic sovereign phoenix? Xiao Hua's heart stirred and he asked in a low voice, what exactly is this demonic sovereign phoenix? I'm not too sure either. It's just a legendary evil phoenix. Huang Tong replied carefully in her heart, the legendary evil phoenix is rare in the world, but it is also arrogant and unruly. It does not submit to anyone. In its eyes there is no right or wrong, only power. Of course, because of this he also suffered a lot. They were banished from the clan and even hunted down by their enemies. However, he doesn't care about these things at all. Wait until he succeeds in his cultivation and defeats all the elders in the clan, then trample the patriarch beneath his feet. Huang Tong briefly told the story of how the evil phoenix became the leader of the demon clan. In the end, she said, the problem is that there are no demon clan members in the Shenyuan space. Who knows where this story came from? Earlier I thought that it was just a legend. However, the aura of the phoenix parasol just now truly made me feel terrified. That was why I couldn't help but think of this legend. All of them have extraordinary backgrounds. Xiao Hua smiled bitterly as he looked at the colorful night sky in the distance. He did not know what to say as he looked at the Thunder Immortal who was closing his eyes to comprehend. Lightning once again appeared around his body and he said, fellow Taoist, why don't you come down and comprehend it properly? We'll wait here for you. What do you think? Alright. The Thunder Immortal did not open his eyes. His figure flashed and he landed on the peak of a mountain not far away. Bolts of lightning soared into the sky, covering nearly 1,000 miles around him. Namo Maitreya Buddha. The Maitreya Buddha was somewhat enlightened. He put his palms together and said, Bodhisattva, the laws of heaven and earth in the demon realm are too obvious. I'm afraid that every Tanyu who comes out has to be baptized by the laws of heaven and earth? Yes. Xiao Hua nodded. The laws of heaven and earth in the demon realm are more shallow than those in the four major continents. Furthermore, the brilliance of the stars and moon is extremely abundant, causing the chi of heaven and earth to be abundant. This is really useful for cultivation. Furthermore, when I entered the realm barrier of the demon realm previously, it was also washed by the laws of heaven and earth. The laws of the demon realm, the four major continents, and the immature realm all affected the Shenhua continent. Therefore, it is easy for fellow Taoists to comprehend the laws of heaven and earth here. Who is the one after Sage Phoenix? Huang Tong asked worriedly. Naturally, it's the sixth elder Taoist which. Xiao Hua looked around and said, let's talk after we're 1,000 miles away. Huang Tong's worry was unnecessary. Taoist which flew out of the space without any changes. Not to mention the laws of heaven and earth, even his figure was similar to the four major continents. Why are you so calm? Xiao Hua asked puzzled. Taoist which smiled slightly. It's just a barren land. Why are you panicking? Taoist Witch's words were of course a joke, because in a moment, Xiao Hua had already told Taoist Witch everything that had happened. Taoist Witch was born from the shaman, and had nothing to do with the laws of heaven and earth in the demon realm. Therefore it was normal that there were no changes. Xiao Hua was making a fuss over nothing. Since fellow Taoist Witch doesn't like the demon realm, I'm sure the seventh elder of the Fortune Gate doesn't like it either. Xiao Hua said and invited Taoist Witch out of the space. Boom boom boom. Just as Taoist Witch's dragon body landed in the sky, there was a sudden roar between heaven and earth. The space within 10,000 miles was instantly sealed. Tens of millions of pale golden rings emerged from the void, and these rings carried the laws of heaven and earth that Xiao Hua was familiar with. They surged and pounced on Taoist Witch. What's going on? Xiao Hua was shocked. Although the rings did not land on Xiao Hua, Huang Tong, Taoist Witch, Maitreya Buddha, and the world-honored one, The four of them were restrained by the laws of heaven and earth. They could not even move. Taoist which sneered. His voice couldn't be heard outside the sealed space, and could only be heard faintly in Xiaohua's heart. What else could it be? The laws of heaven and earth in this space don't allow the dragon clan to appear. I appeared here, so naturally, I'm suppressed by the laws of heaven and earth. Damn it, no wonder there are no dragon clan in the demon realm. So that's why. Xiaohua came to his senses, but for a moment, he was puzzled again. That's not right, the little white dragon just came out. Why is he fine? Give it a tip, and thank you for all your support. Chapter 4785. Speaking of this, Xiaohua suddenly thought of something and said, "That's right. Little White Dragon is originally a python from the demon realm. Perhaps the law of heaven and earth has no effect on him? But, fellow Taoist, what should we do now? I can't put you into my space anymore." "Don't be afraid." Although Reverend Yun was a little panicked, his tone was still calm. The law of heaven and earth only targets the dragon clan in the demon realm. I's dragon body has already surpassed the demon realm. As Reverend Yun spoke, the pale golden rings had already landed on his body. Each ring corresponded to a dragon scale on his body. Obviously, the places where the rings landed could completely suppress Reverend Yun, and even wipe out his soul. Boom, boom, boom. Strange ripples spread out, completely tearing the void apart. One after another, the will of heaven and earth, which was even more vast than mountains, fell into the rings. The rings gradually blurred, forming the outline of the law of heaven and earth, which condensed together and slowly fell down. Of course, Xiaohua was also in this outline. They had already sensed the pressure of the entire heaven and earth, and there was no way for them to fight back. Oh! At this moment, Reverend Yun let out a dragon roar. A bright light suddenly flashed between his 5 claws, and the Pangu axe appeared. Swoosh! A shocking light flashed. Crack! A sound rang in Xiaohua's ears, but the entire demon realm seemed to be trembling. All the outlines of the law of heaven and earth were split in half. The laws of heaven and earth were shattered. The tens of thousands of broken rings were revealed. However, at the same time when the rings were revealed, thousands of tiny ripples emerged from the cracks of the rings. As the ripples fell into the air, they condensed into the appearance of a strange sacred beast. This sacred beast was emitting an aura that the entire heaven and earth could not bear. Not to mention the distortion of the void, even the light and shadow could not reveal the true appearance of this sacred beast. After the sacred beast appeared, it immediately pounced on Reverend Yun. Reverend Yun's dragon body faded like an ink painting, fading away in the space at an extremely fast speed. Not only that, all of Xiaohua's incarnations were breaking into pieces, rushing toward Xiaohua's true body. A kind of absolute darkness, a kind of absolute fear, and an irresistible power appeared from this vague holy beast will. It destroyed many of Xiaohua's avatars and even attacked Xiaohua's main body. Facing such an opponent, Xiaohua was powerless to fight back. Just like Reverend Yun, his entire golden avatar began to vanish from the soles of his feet, arms, and other parts of his body. A shadow of death quickly spread across Xiaohua's entire body like a shadow of light and twilight. In other words, when the twilight covered the back of Xiaohua's head, the crystal-like divine spark immediately emitted a resplendent brilliance. Strands of tenacious power of faith were born, and like seeds, they blocked the cover of the twilight. Then the entire crystal quaked. Roar! Reverend Luobu's dragon roar, Feng Wu and Huang Tong's phoenix cry, Xiaohua's long howl, and billions of worshippers' chants. A bright wave appeared and crushed the deathly twilight, spreading out in all directions. Wherever the light passed, Xiaohua's golden avatar was born, and all his avatars were restored. Reverend Yun's dragon avatar was also completed like a finishing touch. Boom! When the light fell into the holy beast will, the aura that suppressed the heaven and earth was crushed, and the entire holy beast will was wiped out. Then it turned into fine lines and was crushed by the light. Ka. At the same time when the fine lines were crushed, all the rings were completely broken. An overwhelming wave evolved from the rings and rushed out in all directions of the 10,000 demon realm. After the wave passed, the broken laws of heaven and earth turned into 2 halves of the pale golden rings. The broken void formed a huge whirlpool, and the broken rings flickered and were about to fall into the whirlpool. "Since you're here, don't think about leaving." Reverend Yun laughed ferociously. The dragon patterns on his body shone brightly, and the dragon scales flashed brilliantly, trying to absorb the broken rings. Swoosh! When each of the dragon scales had absorbed half of the pale golden rings, the dragon patterns on Reverend Yun's body were greatly reduced, as if he had reached his limit. Ah. Xiaohua came back to his senses and laughed. If that's the case, I won't hold back. While speaking, Xiaohua's mind rolled and absorbed most of the rings into his space. I want some too. Huang Tong's eyes turned red. She flapped her wings and absorbed 10% of the rings into her body. Taoist which glanced at Maitreya Buddha, who did not move, and said, if you don't need them, I will take some for fellow Taoist Lay. Namo Maitreya Buddha, please. Maitreya Buddha replied and raised his hand. With a wave of Taoist witch's sleeve, the rest of the rings were collected. Xiaohua took the rings and did not hesitate. First, he gave one to each of the 100 or so 8th tribulation and semi-nascent soul cultivators. They had just passed the minor heavenly tribulation, and the broken laws of heaven and earth were great supplements. The laws of heaven and earth that had condensed into the shape of a ring disappeared, and the whirlpool in the void slowly disappeared as well. The absolute suppression also disappeared without a trace. Xiaohua looked at the quiet night sky in a daze. What he saw just now was like a dream. Reverend Yun's dragon body swayed and transformed into his human form. He landed in front of Xiaohua and said embarrassedly, fellow Taoist Xiao, I have used the Pangu axe. I'm afraid I won't be able to use it again for the next few decades. It might delay your plan. It's okay, it's okay. Xiaohua hurriedly waved his hand and said, even if the Pangu axe can't do it, there's still the devil's saber. Can also break the demon formation. And if you don't use the Pangu axe, I'm afraid all of us will be suppressed. It's impossible not to use it. Alright, the laws of heaven and earth should be man-made, right? Of course. Reverend Yun nodded and replied, when I broke the golden rings, the image of the sacred beast was revealed. But as for who it is, I don't know. It's not hard to guess. It could be the enemy of the dragon clan in the demon realm, or the enemy of the dragon realm in the upper realm. Judging from the danger just now, fellow Taoist's axe should have broken not only the shackles but also the laws. Xiaohua asked tentatively. Reverend Yun said proudly, of course if it was an ordinary dragon, it would have broken the shackles. But what I broke was the laws of heaven and earth. Xiaohua smiled bitterly with lingering fear and said, fellow Taoist, how could I not know that you are so fierce? It was too dangerous just now. When the Pangu axe broke the shackles, it touched the laws of heaven and earth. If it weren't for the mysterious items we have today, we wouldn't have a good ending. Huang Tong also nodded and said, fellow Taoist Xiao, the laws of heaven and earth are not the real laws of heaven and earth. They are only a punishment attached to the laws of heaven and earth. Reverend Yun took the opportunity when the punishment triggered the suppression of the laws of heaven and earth. He used the Pangu axe to cut off the connection between the punishment force and the laws of heaven and earth. It can be said that he changed the laws of heaven and earth in the demon realm. It was because of the change in the laws of heaven and earth that the sacred beast of punishment appeared. Fellow Taoist divine punishment force blocked the sacred beast's attack and even counterattacked. Presumably from now on, this punishment won't work anymore. Give it a reward and thank you for all your support. Chapter 4786. I get it now. Only dragons like Reverend Yun, who are beyond the realm of 10,000 demon realm, can touch the law of heaven and earth. Xiaohua nodded, and only the power of God's punishment can change the law of heaven and earth. Didn't the dragon palace of the four seas send some dragons? Why don't you take them out and try? Reverend Yun smiled. Alright. Xiaohua waved the Kunlun mirror and sent one of the dragons out. When the dragon landed in the space, his body expanded rapidly, and the pale golden ring did not appear. Xiaohua knew that the law of heaven and earth was broken. Then he shook the Kunlun mirror and sent the strange dragon into the space. Xiaohua suddenly laughed. I know why the little white dragon got the dragon jade so easily. Reverend Yun smiled. Is there a need to say? The dragon who took the dragon jade must have escaped to 10,000 demon realm by chance. As soon as he landed, he was suppressed by the law of heaven and earth, so the dragon jade was lost in 10,000 demon realm. But the problem is, Xiaohua smiled, the dragon jade was placed in the dragon's dragon shell. How could he take the dragon jade out of the dragon shell when he was suppressed? Reverend Yun was stunned, then he shook his head and said, I don't know. Please enlighten me. I don't know either. Without giving Reverend Yun any time to think, Xiaohua said with a smile, let's invite 8th Master and 9th Master to come out. I don't think the laws of heaven and earth and myriad demon realm can affect them. Sure enough, the celestial being and demon lord sure fell into the space and did not change at all. The two clones looked at the huge Xiaohua inexplicably, even more inexplicably than Long Jianghu who just flashed by in the 10,000 demon realm. Xiao Hua was a little excited after escaping from death. He told them what happened just now and the situation in 10,000 Demon Realm. The celestial being and Demon Lord Shi were also happy. Fellow Taoist. Reverend Yun waited for Xiao Hua to finish and said, "When the law of heaven and earth killed I saw a lot of things. I have comprehended many different mysteries and now I have a clue. I want to go into seclusion for a while." Namo Mithreya. Namo Mithreya chanted, "Amit Ba, there is great horror in life and death. I also saw the mysteries of reincarnation." Huang Tong looked at the law of heaven and earth, and Thunder Immortal is comprehending the law of heaven and we can't leave now. Now that the power of God's punishment is still spreading in the 10,000 Demon Realm, let's retreat here. The celestial being and Demon Lord Shi hurriedly said the law of heaven and Demon Lord Shi Yun said this. Xiao Hua was a little hesitant. He was really anxious to find the space passage to the Dawn Rain continent, but he did not expect that there would be so many changes as soon as he arrived at the 10,000 Demon Realm. Yun Yin where he Yun. Thousand heaven. Fellow Taoist. Huang Tong said faintly, the human race has a saying that if a worker wants to do a good job, he must first sharpen his tools. Previously, I've already met a mutated beast that exceeded the 9th level of elemental energy. We might meet you again in the future. Now we have a chance to break through. Although we are delayed here, we can go further in the future. We can go to Dawn Rain continent. Let's set 10 years as the limit. Xiao Hua thought for a moment and said to the celestial being and Demon Lord Shi Yun, 10 years later, no matter if we come out or not, wake us up. The clones all agreed and looked for a suitable place to cultivate. Xiao Hua and the others were in seclusion. The saint ranking of 10,000 Demon Realm was very lively. A few days after the phoenix left, a wave of eagle cries that shook the sky resounded repeatedly. After that, a violent gale surged out as a 3 kilometers long goshawk flapped its wings and flew over. The goshawk descended near the confinement, and it had just put its wings away when the space in the distance collapsed. A ray of golden light pierced out from the void, and then an ape demon that was even larger than the goshawk leaped out from the spatial rift. As soon as the ape came out of the void, he laughed and said, "Great Eagle King, didn't you go to Liaoyang Mountain? Why did you suddenly come back?" The Great Eagle King's eyes flashed like a sword piercing through the void. His voice was very sharp as he looked at the ferocious saint ranking above him and said coldly, "The saint ranking of 10,000 Demon Realm hasn't appeared for many years. Today it appeared again without any warning. How can I not come and take a look?" As he spoke, the Great Eagle King completely ignored the ape demon. Cold light surged out from his body and a crown similar to the 5-colored phoenix appeared. As the whirlwind descended, the Great Eagle King charged into the saint ranking seal. However, the moment the seal closed, the Great Eagle King's extremely shocked voice faintly sounded from the crack. The ape demon was curious and laughed. "What's wrong? Could it be that this saint-ranking demon is an old grudge of the Great Eagle King?" With that, the ape demon waved his hands and a golden light shot out. The golden light soared into the sky and landed on the ape demon's head like water. A crown was about to form. "Great Ape King." A rough voice came from the horizon. "Wait a moment." The ape demon named Great Ape King was stunned. He turned his head and looked into the distance, only to see the 5-colored flames surging. Another phoenix was walking over on fire. "Ah, Firewind King, you're late." Great Ape King seemed to have a very good relationship with this phoenix. He smiled and said, "The Great Eagle King is already here." The phoenix named Firewind King turned into a ray of fire and landed in front of Great Ape King. She glanced at the shrunken Great Eagle King and coldly said, "This isn't about stealing the saint fruit. If he wants to come early, then so be it. What does it have to do with me? Does looking at the saint ranking mean he can live a few more years?" Golden light flashed in the Great Ape King's eyes. He clapped his palms together and laughed. The Fire Phoenix King is indeed open-minded. If the colorful Phoenix King was here, she definitely wouldn't have allowed the Great Eagle King to enter the saint rankings so early. She is her I am me. Firewind King glanced at Great Ape King and asked, "Great Ape King, let me ask you, do you have any news about Demon King Emosa's beloved concubine?" Great Ape King paused and glanced at Firewind King with a smile on his face. "Firewind King, could it be that you secretly like that little swan?" Firewind King didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "How could I like Demon King Emosa's beloved concubine? That's not necessarily true." Great Ape King smiled. "Only the little swan is allowed to have a crush on the great sage of the spirit tribe, but the great sage of the Phoenix Palace is not allowed to have a crush on the little swan." Give it a tip and thank you for all your support. Chapter 4787. Oh, looks like you already know about this. Flaming Phoenix King fell into deep thought. She looked at Great Ape King and said in a low voice, if that's the case, you should know that this has caused a huge uproar in the Huatian and Song Plains realms. Great Sage Yun Xian is furious and has already agreed to Demon King Moss's request. However, the Swift Cherry Grand Sage can't bear to do so, but she can't disrespect Yun Xian either. That's why she secretly sent me a message, asking me to contact the Heavenly Blessing Palace and find little Swan Xianwan. Is it? Great Ape King was displeased. You're such a busybody. You're not an origin great sage. If you don't go to the origin race, then how could the Swift Cherry Grand Sage? Great Ape King's eyes suddenly lit up. He laughed. Ah, I understand now. So that's your plan. You don't have little Swan in your heart, but that origin race. Go. Flaming Phoenix King's expression changed slightly. Before Great Ape King could finish, she flapped her wings and sent him tumbling in the air. She laughed and scolded, it's fine if you say that in front of me, but if the Swift Cherry Grand Sage hears you, she'll skin you alive. Let her come? Great Ape King stood in the air. He wasn't angry. He yelled, I want to see who's stronger. Just as he said that, a snow-white brilliance appeared in the distance. Then an indescribably cold aura came from that direction. The Great Ape King glanced over and sneered, hee, the Swift Cherry Grand Sage didn't come, but the Snow Wolf King came first. Let's go, I can't be bothered with her dead face. Then a crown appeared on Great Ape King's head again. The Saint ranking seal fell, and a whirlwind enveloped Great Ape King and imprisoned him. The Fire Phoenix King didn't seem to like paying attention to the Snow Wolf King either. She spread her wings and flames rushed into the top of her head. Unfortunately, before the crown was born, the five-colored phoenix that was the first to reach the ground broke through the air again in the opposite direction of the Snow Wolf King. Flaming Phoenix King? The five-colored phoenix was surprised to see Flaming Phoenix King. You're here to see the Saint ranking too? You didn't go to the origin race? Fire Phoenix King looked at Rainbow Phoenix and said, Rainbow Phoenix King, I can go wherever I want. It has nothing to do with you. It's all right, it's all right. The colorful Phoenix King flapped its wings. Light overflowed and a crown appeared. I've come here to see where the Great Sage has appeared. The appearance of the Saint ranking this time is too strange. Fire Phoenix King didn't suspect anything. She revealed her crown and a whirlwind appeared. She said, it seems that no one from the spirit clans has appeared recently. You'll know when you see it. As the colorful Phoenix King spoke, her figure had already rushed into the confinement of the Saint rankings, and the Fire Phoenix King followed after her. Ah. Although the colorful Phoenix King had seen the Saint ranking before, she could not help but cry out in surprise when her gaze landed on the Saint ranking. Beside her, Fire Phoenix King opened her mouth wide and couldn't close it for a long time. She said to herself, How? How is this possible? Yeah, how is that possible? What? Are there so many great sages? The colorful Phoenix King sighed and stared at the Saint ranking. No one knew what she was thinking. Because on the Saint ranking, in addition to the Phoenix clan's Feng Wu and Dragon clan's Ho, that she had seen before, there were a few lines of uncanny handwriting below them. Human clan's Xiao Hua, Spirit clan's Lei, Spirit clan's Bodhi, Phoenix clan's Huang Tong, Human clan? A snow-white giant wolf just came in from outside the confinement of the Saint ranking. The giant wolf's face was as cold as ice, but at this moment he was extremely surprised. When did the Human clan come to our 10,000 demon realm? The surprise in his voice was exceptionally obvious. Although his voice wasn't loud, it meant that he was more surprised than the colorful Phoenix King. It must be the Human clan from the outside world. The Great Ape King looked at the Saint ranking not far away and said indifferently. However, after a moment, the Great Ape King looked at the giant wolf in surprise. Snow Wolf King, the Human clan is secondary. Didn't you see? The Dragon clan. The Dragon clan actually appeared in our 10,000 demon realm. This is the biggest joke in the world. What? Why can't the Dragon clan appear in our 10,000 demon realm? The Snow Wolf King asked curiously. Is there a secret behind this? The Great Ape King suddenly realized that he had said something wrong and stole a glance at the Fire Phoenix King. The Fire Phoenix King also looked at him with a reproachful gaze. The Great Ape King shrunk his neck and said coldly, How would I know? Don't tell me I can't even speak? Everyone. The Great Eagle King was the first to come in. He glanced at the great saints and said, Needless to say, These must be the 6 experts from the outside world. I just don't know where they came from and why they came to our 10,000 demon realm. And where are they now? If they came from the outside world, they must have come a long time ago. Otherwise, it would be impossible for them to surpass the heaven realm. The colorful Phoenix King said seriously. Only by cultivating in our 10,000 demon realm for a long time can they reach such a realm, right? Not necessarily. The Fire Phoenix King shook her head and looked at the names Huang Tong and Feng Wu. She said, if the Phoenix clan came from the outside world, I would definitely be able to sense it. At this point, the Fire Phoenix King looked at the Colorful Phoenix King and said, Colorful Phoenix King, could it be that you could sense it in the Phoenix Shrine? Do you think it's possible? The Colorful Phoenix King sneered. If the Phoenix Shrine can sense it, can't your Phoenix God Palace? That's not right. The Great Ape King looked at the saint ranking strangely and said, why is the great saint of the Phoenix clan called Huang Tong? Huang Tong should be from the Phoenix clan, right? That's true. The Colored Phoenix King and the Fire Phoenix King also stopped arguing at this time. They looked at each other and were a little puzzled. However, the Colored Phoenix King thought for a while and said with a smile, the holy ranking can't be wrong. Since it's the Phoenix clan, it definitely isn't the Phoenix clan. Presumably. The Phoenix clan from the outside world is different from the Phoenix clan in our 10,000 demon realm. It can also be called Huang Tong. That's the only way. The Fire Phoenix King felt a little uneasy. After all, there were 2 great saints of the Phoenix clan in the 10,000 demon realm. This was a great threat to his position. He even felt that the Phoenix clan from the outside world had some grudges with the Phoenix God Palace. The Snow Wolf King spoke again. There is indeed something wrong with the saint ranking today. The names of the 6 great saints have been engraved. Why haven't they taken it back? Without waiting for the saints to speak, a majestic voice sounded from the edge of the confinement. Needless to say, there must be other great saints whose names have not been engraved. Great Saint Yuan Shen is here? When the Snow Wolf King and the others heard this, a smile appeared on their faces. They rushed towards the source of the voice and smiled. Greetings, Great Saint Yuan Shen. At the source of the voice, a golden brilliance appeared. A 3-legged golden crow stepped out from the brilliance. The huge golden crow's body was suffused with endless heat and golden light. Layers of vast aura distorted the void. Because of the distortion of the light, the 3-legged golden crow's figure seemed unreal. Everyone please rise. As the great Saint Yuan Shen spoke, he flapped his wings and helped the saints up. At this moment, after the heat from the 3-legged golden crow's burning breath, there was a heart-piercing chill. A huge moonlight revealed a clear mist, and a jade rabbit with a dark green body stepped out of the mist. Greetings, Rapid Cherry Grand Saint. The great saints did not have time to get up. They hurriedly bowed again, especially the Fire Phoenix King. She had a smile on her face as her gaze fell on the gentle and beautiful face of the Rapid Cherry Grand Saint. You are all too polite. The Rapid Cherry Grand Saint said with a smile. He also helped the saints up. When his gaze fell on the saint ranking, his smile immediately froze on his face. He said in shock, how is this possible? The Dragon Clan and the Human Clan. Why are they in the 10,000 demon realm? Rapid Cherry Grand Saint. The 3-legged golden crow said unhappily. It's the great saints of the Dragon Clan and the Human Clan, not the Dragon Clan and the Human Clan. Sai Yuan Shen. The Rapid Cherry Grand Saint sighed. The Dragon Clan's great saint is here. Is the Dragon Clan far away? The Human Clan's great saint is here. I'm afraid the Human Clan has already appeared in the 10,000 demon realm? The 10,000 demon realm is about to change. The Snow Wolf King said faintly. I'm afraid the 10,000 demon realm will no longer belong to the Spirit Clan. That's right. Yuan Shen nodded. I heard that the Human Clan in other realms reproduces very quickly. They are also very intelligent, completely different from the Demon Clan. It seems that every Human Clan member can become a saint. Moreover, the Human Clan's cultivation method is also tyrannical and greedy. The Great Ape King agreed. They are like locusts that steal the heaven and earth spirit chi. They want the heaven and earth for their own use. No, we can't let the Human Clan survive in the 10,000 demon realm. Yuan Shen roared. Flames shot up into the sky. Yuan Shen, there's no need for that. The Rapid Cherry Grand Saint said softly. I heard that the Human Clan's physical body is very weak. They are no match for the strange beasts. Even if they want to survive in the 10,000 demon realm, I'm afraid they can't avoid the attacks of the strange beasts, let alone reproduce and cultivate. Moreover, this human clan great sages with the dragon clan, the phoenix clan, and the unknown spirit clan. Wait. So what if there are 6 great sages? Yuan Xian said coldly. The great sages of the 10,000 demon realm are no weaker than them. Fire Phoenix King can't defeat Feng Wu? Colorful Phoenix King can't defeat Huang Tong? Not to mention the great sages here, even the Striped Tiger King and the Leopard Whale King can kill these newly advanced great sages. The Rapid Cherry Grand Saint shook his head. He looked at the holy ranking and hesitated. What kind of spirit clan is this? Why didn't the holy ranking say anything? Moreover, the holy ranking hasn't been retracted. Could there be other great sages who haven't been included? Let's see. Yuan Xian said faintly. What other great sages will appear? Xiao Hua and the others naturally didn't know that their whereabouts had been detected by the great sages of the 10,000 demon realm. They were still in seclusion. Vote, 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 donate. Thank you for all your support. Chapter 4788. Fortunately, it did not take 10 years but only 6 years. The sound of wind and thunder sounded in the distance, as if the mountains were collapsing. The stars in the entire starry sky poured down like the Milky Way. After 9 days and 9 nights, the light expelled the darkness. Jie. With a clear sound, Feng Wu's figure crossed the sky and instantly landed in front of the celestial being. An extremely powerful aura mixed with the power of the stars and moon followed Feng Wu's wings and rippled in the sky. Xiao Hua, who was hidden in the void, slowly floated out of the void at this time. The faint ripples in the void were like ripples in water. Xiao Hua opened his eyes, neither happy nor sad. He looked at Feng Wu and nodded to the celestial being and demon venerable Shi. His figure flashed and rushed high into the sky. For a moment, only a black shadow could be seen. Big brother. Huang Tong also flew out of seclusion and looked at Feng Wu with concern. How do you feel? Not good. Feng Wu frowned. His right wing brushed over his head and whispered, there seems to be some changes but I can't tell what it is. Big brother, could it be that Sky Phoenix did something? Huang Tong was very worried. Feng Wu kept his wings and smiled, don't worry. Sky Phoenix's origin. He still doesn't mention it. I don't know if he is the legendary demon phoenix in the Xinyuan space. However, he has no evil intentions towards me. Just like when little white dragon cultivated in brother Zhao's soul, it is a win-win situation. Of course, everything will come to light one day. Perhaps only then will we be able to know the reason for his visit. That's good. Huang Tong flapped his wings and smiled, Big Brother's advancement has benefited me too. There are surprises every moment beside Big Brother and fellow cultivators. It is much better than the loneliness in the Xinyuan space. However, Feng Wu was not as happy as Huang Tong. He frowned and said, I didn't want to advance. After all, I was already at the peak of the 9th level of elemental energy, which was the limit allowed by the laws of heaven and earth in the 3 continents. Now that I'm in the 10,000 demon realm, the laws of heaven and earth here are different, and I can't control it myself. Tian Feng must seize every opportunity to increase her strength. Today, although he had only imprinted the star pattern of the 10,000 demon realm into his body and did not fully comprehend it, but his strength had already surpassed the original 9th grade. With our current strengths, it's probably not easy for us to return to Dawn Rain Continent. Even as Feng Wu was speaking, a loud boom rang out. 10,000 miles diagonally in front of them, a loud explosion was heard. Thousands of dragon energies transformed into the shape of a dragon and shot up into the sky like a fountain. When they condensed in the sky, a strange whirlwind came out of the void, sweeping away all the natural energies within 10,000 miles. Reverend Yun revealed his dragon form within the whirlwind. As he stretched his neck and let out a long cry, a loud and clear dragon roar shook the entire area. Sigh, Reverend Yun has also surpassed the 9th tier of origin energy by too much. Huang Tong sighed. Feng Wu looked up at the 9-colored sky in the sky, and a wry smile appeared on her face. That's not all. If we are already like this, Daoist Shao is even more so. For the sake of the 3 continents, Daoist Shao has been suppressing his realm. Now that we have all advanced and surpassed the rules of heaven and earth, he must have reached the 10th tier of origin energy. Huang Tong nodded. Bus, bus, bus. Somewhere on the ground, a rumbling sound was heard. The mountains shook, and thick bolts of lightning came out of the void and fell into the Thunderbolt Immortal, who was sitting cross-legged on the peak of the mountain. The Thunderbolt Immortal's body completely turned into lightning, and then he transformed back into his human form. The Thunderbolt Immortal opened his mouth, and thousands of bolts of lightning entered his body. Haha, so this is the lightning profound of the 10,000 demon realm. The thunderbolt immortal laughed wildly as he flew up into the sky. With this profound, why should I be afraid of the heavenly tribulation of ascension? Namo Maitreya Buddha. Just as the thunderbolt immortal steadied himself, the Maitreya Buddha appeared beside him calmly. Unlike the thunderbolt immortal's arrogance, the Maitreya Buddha did not seem to have changed at all. The thunderbolt immortal landed in the sky, touched his head strangely and asked, "Do you feel anything? Why do I feel like there's something on top of my head? But I can't see it with my divine sense or naked eyes." Feng Wu looked at Spiritual Master Yun, and Spiritual Master Yun nodded slightly. "Yes, I have this feeling too. It appeared when I broke through to the 9th grade of elemental energy." Namo Maitreya Buddha. The Maitreya Buddha chanted, "I feel the same. It seems. This is a law of the 10,000 demon realm." "Well then don't bother about it." Feng Wu flapped her wings and said, "Let's look at Taoist Shao." The clones looked up into the sky and saw layers of profound, either rushing into the sky, falling into the ground, or spreading in all directions. They had already understood. Huang Tong was surprised. Is Taoist Shao using the art of divination? Well, the Maitreya Buddha raised his hand and said, "Look at that brilliance, it has already revealed the karma of the 10,000 demon realm." Cough. Huang Tong coughed twice and smiled bitterly. "The revered one, how can I see it? If you are talking about space splitting and soul devouring, I am the best at it. This karma Tao. It really doesn't make sense." Speaking of this, Huang Tong suddenly realized something. He hurriedly spread his wings and flew up. Runes appeared between his claws, and these runes were several times bigger in the 10,000 demon realm. Unfortunately, when Huang Tong tore the void and looked for a moment, he shook his head and retreated. He whispered, "It still doesn't work." Then Huang Tong looked up into the sky and whispered, "If I can't do it, Taoist Shao, I'm afraid you can't do it either." Sure enough, in less than the time it took to eat a meal. Boom boom boom. The roar in the sky was loud and thousands of brilliance were like fireworks. Xiao Hua fell from the sky, and there was no sign of the magical power backfiring. Instead, his face was indifferent. He said, "Although I can see some of the 10,000 demon realms karma, I don't know which direction to go or what the result will be. You and I are originally from the outside world. We have just come into the realm and have not touched the karma. Naturally, we can't see anything from the river of karma," the Maitreya Buddha said lightly. Xiao Hua shook his head. "How can I's karma hand and Qingxiu Mountain's secret technique be so simple? It's just that I's cultivation is still shallow, so I can't see it." "What kind of magical power is that?" Huang Tong was about to faint. He shouted, "Taoist Shao, you're already at the 10th grade and you still can't master it? Taoist Shao will slowly find out. Also, you can use it in the future. But right now." Xiao Hua smiled and took out some silver talismans from the space. He handed them to his clones and said, "Taoist Shao, please put away these talismans from the immortal realm first. When we break through the void and enter the Dawn Rain continent, we have to activate them. Otherwise, the Dawn Rain continent's laws of heaven and earth will reject us. We can't even step into the Dawn Rain continent, let alone break the immortal formation." Understood. The clones all took the talismans. Then everyone looked at each other. Finally, Huang Tong whispered, "Taoist Shao, what should we do now?" "Let's go." Xiao Hua pointed in a direction and said, "We'll go there." "Where is that?" Huang Tong was puzzled and asked curiously, "Taoist Shao, did you find something just now?" "No." Xiao Hua smiled, "I just pointed at it casually." Buddha Maitreya laughed, "Taoist Shao, you're famous for your poor sense of direction, and your ability to find your way is also famous. I'm afraid you're already going in the opposite direction. Why don't you go in the opposite direction?" "Whatever. I don't care." Xiao Hua shrugged, "I'm blind anyway. It's the same no matter where I go." "I agree with you, Buddha Maitreya." Reverend Yun smiled, "Taoist Shao, you can trust everything except this. You can't. And you have to go in the opposite direction." "Ah." Xiao Hua laughed and flew into the air. He pointed to his left and right and said, "Fellow Taoists, let's line up in a row and use the secret technique of spirit connection to expand the range of our vision. I don't believe we can't find the way to the Hua Tian realm." "You're wrong, Taoist Shao." Reverend Yun laughed, "If we line up in a row, the range will be larger but the connection between us will be less. If we encounter any danger, we won't be able to help each other. We can't use the formation of the 9 provinces grand formation to move forward. First, we can practice the formation, and second, if we encounter any danger, We can rush forward together. Ah, that's right. Xiao Hua laughed and flew into the air first. I like to bully others with numbers the most. Woo woo. The group of clones all urged their bodies, either moving forward or stopping or moving left and right. When Feng Wu, who was in front of him, had already reached the edge of Xiao Hua's mind, Xiao Hua turned his head and said to Demon Sovereign Shi, "You replace Wen Chu and practice the 9 regions great formation with us." Ah, thank you, big brother. Venerable Demon somersaulted in the air and followed Xiao Hua's flying figure to the left. Since Xiao Hua wanted to set up the 9 provinces grand formation on the hidden immortal continent, he and the other 8 clones had to be in different provinces to spread the formation all over the hidden immortal continent. However, as the formation eye in each province was different, Xiao Hua and the other 8 clones did not need to cover the entire hidden immortal continent when their minds were connected. Even so, the range that Xiao Hua and the others had to cover was not small at all. Moreover, as Xiao Hua, Reverend Yun, Feng Wu, Huang Tong, Reverend Thunder, and Buddha Mithria's overall strength broke through the 9th tier to the 10th tier, Taoist Sorcerer, Venerable Demon, and Celestial also showed signs of breaking through the bottleneck. As a result, the range that their minds could cover was getting wider and wider as they flew. Chapter 4789. However, what made Xiao Hua fearful was that as they flew, there was always a wasteland in front of them, and there was always an endless amount of powerful demonic beasts blocking their way. Because Xiao Hua and the others didn't want to cause trouble, they had already released their 10th grade Essence Energy Aura. 9 10th grade Essence Energy Auras? Any demonic beast that wasn't strong enough didn't dare to reveal themselves. But even so, every 10 days or so, Xiao Hua and the others would have to convince others with virtue. There were always some demonic beasts that exceeded 9th grade Essence Energy that didn't believe in heresy and came out to block them. Towards these demonic beasts that had lived for who knows how many years, Xiao Hua and the others wouldn't force them too much. As long as they could defeat them, they wouldn't be too ruthless. Unfortunately, demonic beasts were demonic beasts, not the Spirit Clan. Many of them didn't know when to advance or retreat, so Xiao Hua and the others had to use their divine abilities. After refining the spirit-punishing vital light into the Yin-Yang Illustrated Handbook, it had completely changed. The green and red primordial light had already turned into black and white. And because it contained the essence of the 10th grade world exterminating mayfly's hind leg, the spirit-punishing vital light was incomparably sharp. If they didn't have an extremely special body, even 10th grade essence energy demonic beasts would inevitably be killed by the spirit-punishing vital light. Of course, the 10,000 demon realm was incomparably mysterious. Even if Xiao Hua and the others were already 10th grade essence energy, there were still times when Feng Wu, who was leading the way, felt a powerful aura and hurriedly sent a message to hide. Everyone fled far away and then continued to fly in that direction. Just like before, there were even more powerful demonic beasts that chased after them. In addition, Xiao Hua originally liked to plunder everywhere, but after arriving at the 10,000 demon realm, because he was in a hurry, he didn't have this kind of thought. After killing some powerful demonic beasts, Xiao Hua's thoughts moved again. While flying, he let the 8 doppelgangers do the same as him. Wherever they flew, no matter what kind of demonic fruit, demonic grass, or even some strange materials, as long as they saw it, they would put it into the space. It was as if they were scraping the ground 3 feet deep. In this way they flew for a full 3 years. Xiao Hua himself was on the verge of collapse. Because he clearly knew that if he chose the wrong direction, they would be flying towards the edge of the realm. That was a journey that would never end. Not just Xiao Hua, even Feng Wu, who was flying in front of him, was doubtful. That was because 3 years of flying at full speed. How far could a great saint of the demon race who surpassed the 9th level of essence power fly in 3 years? Even he himself was not sure. Because the 3 continents were definitely not that big. Not to mention, 3 years of time was enough for Xiao Hua and the others, whose mental connection had already undergone a qualitative change, to undergo a transformation by leaps and bounds. Feng Wu believed that even if they returned to the 3 continents now, they still had a 50% chance of setting up the grand formation of the 9 states. Feng Wu activated his origin will and looked ahead. It was still the same unchanging wasteland. He couldn't help but feel dejected and said in his heart, "Fellow Taoists, should we change direction? We have been flying towards the so-called east for 3 years. No, it should be the southeast direction." Huang Tong was very sensitive to the direction and immediately corrected him. Xiao Hua hesitated. If it was anything else, he could immediately make a decision. However, this was a problem of direction. For him who had no sense of direction, it was more difficult than giving birth. Wow. At this moment, Demon Lord Shi, Celestial Being and Taoist which suddenly exclaimed in unison. Above the three clones, three different kinds of fluctuations suddenly appeared. Bursts of strange light and shadows appeared. These light and shadows were either blood pool demonic shadows, primordial scorching suns, or white bones standing in a forest. And when these light and shadows landed on the three clones, the light and shadows of three crowns flashed above the three clones' heads. Especially Demon Lord Shi and Taoist which, their crowns were so fast that they couldn't be seen. Xiao Hua hurriedly asked, "Fellow Taoists, what's going on?" "Maybe." Demon Lord Shi hesitated and said, "Little brother has also broken through the 9th level of essence power? But little brother's strength seems to have already been in the primordial continent." Celestial Being's loud voice interrupted Demon Lord Shi. "Fellow Taoist Xiao, I'm afraid that I have already advanced. In these 3 years, I have already sacrificially refined 90% of the 10,000 extinguishing celestial dipper." Taoist which also smiled and transmitted his voice, "That's right, I's cultivation has also broken through the sorcerer realm. Now I'm at the edge of the 3rd heaven of the outer sky. It's just that I's vision is dark and I can't find the door to the 3rd heaven." Xiao Hua wasn't too surprised by the three clones' advancement. After his joy he said worriedly, "First I'll congratulate you three fellow Taoists. But at this moment, let's think if we should change our direction." Namo Maitreya. Maitreya Buddha of the world opened his mouth, "I'll tell you a story." The world-honored one wants to tell a story? Quick, I like to hear it the most. Demon Lord Shi didn't know if he was flattering or really liked to hear it, but he was the first to applaud. "It's not really a story, it's said to be a true story." Maitreya Buddha of the world-honored one smiled and said, "This is what Samantabhadra Bodhisattva of Namo said. Back then, when he was enlightening the people in a certain realm, he met a very impatient person. This person wanted to pray for his parents, so the Bodhisattva taught him a heart sutra. He also told him that as long as he could recite it 100 times a day for 100 consecutive days, he would be able to dispel the illness of his parents. That person learned it happily and recited it 100 times at that time. The Bodhisattva saw that this person had the root of wisdom and liked him very much, so he secretly paid attention to him and was prepared to accept him as a disciple in the future. However, 100 days later, the Bodhisattva passed by here again, only to find that this person was still frowning. When he asked again, the Bodhisattva knew that this person's parents were not only not safe, but also seriously ill. The Bodhisattva didn't understand because the Heart Sutra was correct, and this person was a filial person, how could it be useless? When he asked that person how to recite it, that person's answer made the Bodhisattva speechless. For the first 60 days, that person recited the Heart Sutra 100 times a day without any slack, but from the 61st day onwards, he saw that his parents' bodies were starting to show signs of illness, so he became suspicious and began to recite it less often. As he reduced the number of times, his parents' bodies became worse and worse. In the last 10 days, that person simply gave up on the Heart Sutra and began to seek help from medicinal stones. However, that person's parents were already old and they met a quack doctor. The medicinal stones prescribed were all ferocious and the more they took, the more harmful it was to their bodies. After the Bodhisattva heard this, he smiled bitterly and left after bestowing the spiritual medicine. When the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra of Namo mentioned this matter, he explained it to me like this. That person's parents had a hidden illness that ordinary doctors couldn't cure. This Heart Sutra was the right thing to do. Previously, when that person recited the Heart Sutra, it had already turned the hidden illness into an obvious illness. As long as he had enough confidence and continued to recite the Heart Sutra, after 100 days, the obvious illness would subside and that person's parents would definitely be healthy for 100 years. However, that man didn't have confidence and didn't have a conscience. Seeing that his parents' bodies were unwell, he felt that the Heart Sutra was useless and gradually abandoned it. He also took a wrong path. If the Bodhisattva didn't turn around, I'm afraid he would regret it for the rest of his life. Revered one of the world. The demon venerable laughed and said, "You mean, as long as we have enough confidence and set our direction, there will be hope?" However, the celestial being cried out, "That's not right, revered one of the world. Since the Bodhisattva can use spiritual medicine to cure that person's parents' illness, why must that person recite the Heart Sutra? Wouldn't it be better to just give him the spiritual medicine directly?" Namo Maitreya. The Maitreya Buddha chanted the name of Buddha. That person not only because of lack of confidence he almost caused the death of his parents, but also because of lack of confidence he lost the opportunity to worship the Bodhisattva. This is the most important thing. Revered one of the world. The problem is that I have confidence, but is the direction right? Although Xiao Hua felt that the story of the Maitreya Buddha might not be appropriate, he still thanked the Maitreya Buddha for his encouragement. Confidence is the direction. The direction is also confidence. The words of the Maitreya Buddha were always very philosophical, making people unable to refute. But when they heard it, it made people feel that it was meaningless. Fellow Taoist Xiao, Reverend Lightning Bolt said with a smile, can a Confucian cultivator also have such advice? Is it the halfway point of 100 miles journey, or is it giving up halfway? Why don't we fly for another 8 to 10 years? If the crisis of the 3 continents is not here, what's the point of flying for 100 years? Xiao Hua said with a wry smile. But just as he was about to say something, Reverend Yun, who had not spoken for a long time, suddenly cried out from another direction. Fellow Taoists, there seems to be a fight going on over there. Yes. Xiao Hua sucked in a cold breath, his voice trembling as he cried out in shock. Is it true? I'm not sure. Reverend Yun answered, there are changes in the natural energies over there and some rumbling noises as well. But the place of the fight has gone beyond the range of the elemental will. Quick, Xiao Hua said excitedly, let's go and have a look. Great. The group of 10th tier cultivators broke through the void and teleported into the distance, as if they were mortals who were watching a show. There was a huge swamp very far away from Xiao Hua and his company. At this moment, a phoenix whose body was flashing with the color of water was trying its best to defend against the attack of a strange beast whose body was covered in mud. The body of the phoenix was about 4,000 feet long, and its splendid feathers were in a mess. The air several miles to its left and right was filled with broken feathers, and some of them even fell from the mud. Boom! A loud boom rang out. The water beam spat out by the phoenix was shattered by the strange beast, and the airwaves crashed into the swamp, pushing the mud 1,000 feet away. The phoenix's figure could not bear the humiliation. It tumbled a few times in the air before falling into the mud 10,000 feet away. When the phoenix landed on the mud, it quickly flew up and looked at the dirty mud with disgust. Its wings flapped brightly, and it had long removed the filth from it. However, when the phoenix's gaze fell on the strange beast in front of it, its eyes were filled with despair again. Chapter 4790. The strange beast in front of the phoenix was about 10,000 feet long. It was shaped like a loach, and its body was covered in mud and shiny oily skin. At this time, there were already some tear marks on the oily skin, and dark green blood was flowing out. However, when the blood dripped onto the mud, it slowly solidified. It was much stronger than the cracks on the phoenix's abdomen and back. Hiss! The strange beast hissed, and under the phoenix's despairing gaze, it attacked again. The ground trembled and the mud boiled. Several black pillars of mud that were even bigger than the phoenix shot out from the mud and shot towards the phoenix. The void where the pillars of mud came from had already been torn apart, and a stench that could cover an area of 50 kilometers surged out from the void. The phoenix let out a clear cry and put away its despair. Its wings flapped, and the power of countless stars and moons appeared out of thin air, turning into water to protect itself. At the same time, dozens of beautiful phoenix feathers flew out from the phoenix's wings, waist and other parts of its body. Boom boom. Several small flames rose from the phoenix's feathers, and the ignited feathers changed direction and fell into the phoenix's body. Then there was another loud boom. The phoenix's body exploded, and several identical phoenixes flew out from the brilliance. JJ. Several clear cries sounded, and these phoenixes flew in all directions that hiss. Seeing the phoenixes fly out, the black mud pillars that rushed out earlier hissed at the same time. From the black mud pillars, several blood-red tongues pierced out like lightning. The long tongues disappeared into the void faster than flying swords. In an instant, miserable cries came out from the phoenixes' mouths again. Under the phoenixes, the blood tongues stretched out from the void and landed on the phoenixes' bodies. These blood tongues did not pierce the phoenixes' bodies, but stuck to the phoenixes' abdomens. The phoenixes struggled a few times, but they could not break free. Bang bang bang. Several soft sounds rang out. Except for the phoenix on the farthest blood tongue, the other phoenixes turned into feathers. Puff. Seeing that she was trapped, the phoenix turned pale with fright. She opened her mouth and a stream of water light fell on the bloody tongue like a sword. However, the bloody tongue trembled slightly. The strange fluctuations and the slipperiness of the bloody tongue had already avoided the water light. Sigh. The phoenix sighed and lowered its head as if it was extremely unwilling. Its phoenix beak pecked at the bloody tongue like lightning. Poof! With a muffled sound, the tongue of blood burst out with a dark green blood stain. This blood stain fell on top of the phoenix's brocade feathers, and it immediately emitted a sizzling sound. The phoenix's feathers were rapidly corroded. Hiss hiss. The strange beast let out a furious roar, and several bloody tongues pierced towards the phoenix from all directions. As the phoenix spread its wings, there was actually the sound of thunder. Crack. The strange beast's bloody tongue broke, and the phoenix soared into the sky. However, although the phoenix struggled to break free, the void above the phoenix had already cracked. Several bloody tongues were already like the most insidious vipers in the world, revealing their murderous fangs. Forget it. The phoenix let out a low cry. She folded her wings and wrapped herself tightly, as if she had already given up on resisting. However, before she died, the beautiful phoenix was not willing to let this ugly strange beast damage her body. Ka-ka-ka. After a series of crisp sounds, it was immediately followed by a hissing sound. Finally, with a boom sound, it was as if a quagmire had been opened. Everything returned to tranquility. Between the heavens and the earth, there was only the sound of the water flowing into the quagmire in the air and the water flowing into the quagmire. The phoenix's body trembled. She couldn't wait for the pain of being killed for a long time. She couldn't help but feel a little surprised. She poked her head out from her wings and looked around in confusion. She really didn't believe that she could encounter a miracle in the Bo-Bo wasteland. However, a miracle happened in the end. Near the phoenix, the quagmire was still rippling, and the stench was still as strong as before. However, in this quagmire, several large tentacles had been chopped off, and were thrown far away in the mud. Beneath the phoenix, the gigantic beast's carapace had already been split in half. Dark green blood gushed out of the beast's carapace like spring water and flowed into the swamp. A peculiar stench wafted out from the blood. Whiz! The phoenix was overjoyed. She cried out and hurriedly looked around. When she saw the situation in the sky clearly, she swallowed the words she was about to shout. This was because several people from the human race, the dragon race and the phoenix race, whose auras were as solid as mountains, were standing there with smiles on their faces. The auras of these people from the spirit race covered the sky, and an inexplicable sense of happiness rushed into the phoenix race, causing her to feel dizzy. Phoenix Envoy Number 9 greets the Phoenix Clan's great sage Phoenix Wu. The phoenix cried out loudly. However, before she could finish her words, she stopped again. This was because there were two phoenixes in front of her. One was more powerful than the other. She didn't know which one to greet. What? One of the phoenixes was shocked. She flapped her wings and dragged the Phoenix Envoy Number 9 into the sky. She cried out, "Who are you? How do you know my name?" Facing the Phoenix Wu, this phoenix had no strength to fight back or struggle. Under the unparalleled strength, she could almost see the shadow of death. "Great Sage." Phoenix Envoy Number 9 hurriedly cried out, "What are you doing?" The Phoenix Wu heard the cry of Phoenix Envoy Number 9 and realized that she had lost her composure. She changed her mouth into the language of the 10,000 demon realm and asked, "Where are you from? How do you know my name?" Seeing that the Phoenix Wu's tone was cold, Phoenix Envoy Number 9 didn't panic. She smiled and said, "Reporting to the Great Sage, this junior is the envoy of the Phoenix Shrine. This junior is under the order of the Phoenix Clan's Great Sage, the colorful Phoenix King, to welcome the Great Sage in the Bo-Bo wasteland." As for the Great Sage's name, the colorful Phoenix King naturally knew about it from the Saint ranking. Saint ranking? The Phoenix Wu was surprised and turned to look at Xiaohua. Xiaohua's figure landed. He frowned and looked at Phoenix Envoy Number 9. He asked in a deep voice, "What Saint ranking?" What else did the colorful Phoenix King say? Reporting to the Great Sage. Phoenix Envoy Number 9 naturally didn't recognize Xiaohua from the Spirit Clan. She only said respectfully, "The Saint ranking is the Saint ranking that records the names of the Great Sages in the 10,000 demon realm. Whenever an expert breaks through to the Great Sage realm, the Saint ranking will appear and the expert's name will appear on the Saint ranking." As for my colorful Phoenix King, she didn't say much. She only ordered this junior to invite the Great Sages of the Phoenix Clan and the Great Sages of the Dragon Clan to the Phoenix Shrine. Damn it! Xiaohua cursed when he heard Phoenix Envoy Number 9's words. When he came to the 10,000 demon realm, he didn't want to disturb the Great Sages of the 10,000 demon realm or even the Demon King. He only wanted to find a space passage and quickly go to the Dawn Rain continent. But who would have thought that he would cause such a big commotion before he even walked out of this strange wasteland? The colorful Phoenix King had already sent an envoy to welcome him. How could she still go to the Huatian realm quietly? But after a moment Xiao Hua's heart moved again. He looked at Phoenix Envoy number 9 and asked in a deep voice, "Where is this place? When did you get here? How did you know that the Phoenix Wu Grand Sage came from this direction?" "Oh right, the colorful Phoenix King only told you that there were 2 great sages. Did she not mention the other great sages?" Phoenix Envoy number 9 didn't dare to be negligent and hurriedly replied, reporting to the great sage, "This is the edge of the Bobo wasteland. About 1,000,000 miles behind this Junior is the Jade Azure Sea. Junior and a dozen other Phoenix envoys were ordered to do business near the Jade Azure Sea 10 years ago. After receiving the message from the Phoenix Shrine, we immediately rushed to the Bobo wasteland to welcome the Phoenix Wu Grand Sage. However, the Bobo wasteland is really too big. We didn't dare to go too deep and could only wait at the edge. But even so, now, if nothing unexpected happens, out of the dozen Phoenix envoys, only this Junior is left. Of course, in order to welcome the Phoenix Wu Grand Sage, my colorful Phoenix King must have sent other Phoenix envoys. They should also be waiting for the great sage in other parts of the Bobo wasteland. As for how the colorful Phoenix King knew that the Phoenix Wu Grand Sage came from this direction, this Junior doesn't know. That day when this Junior received the message, only 2 great sages were mentioned. The names of the other great sages were not mentioned. The Phoenix Wu Grand Sage nodded. Her tone became amiable as she said, "I see. Since you've found this great sage, send a message to the Phoenix Shrine's envoys to come over. Don't let them die for nothing." "Yes, thank you great sage for your sympathy." Phoenix Envoy number 9 was very happy when she heard this. She hurriedly spat out a 5-colored feather from her mouth. A green light sprayed on it, and the feather flew into the sky, turning into hundreds of Phoenix phantoms and disappearing into the nearby void. "Great sage, please wait for a moment." Phoenix Envoy number 9 said respectfully, "These sisters will be here in less than 100 days. 100 days? The Phoenix Wu Grand Sage pondered for a moment and asked, "We still have important matters to attend to, so we may not be able to wait here for 100 days. How about this, you wait here by yourself? This great sage has already seen that there are no powerful beasts nearby. After you're dead, wait for the other Phoenix envoys to come over, then you all will return to the Phoenix Shrine together. Tell the colorful Phoenix King that this great sage and this great sage's friends are just passing by the 10,000 demon realm. We have no intention of disturbing them. We'll leave as soon as we find a way out. We won't disturb their cultivation and the inherent order of the 10,000 demon realm." This Phoenix Envoy number 9 hesitated for a moment, but still pleaded, "Great sage, you're the great sage of my Phoenix clan. Since you've come to the 10,000 demon realm, you should at least take a seat at the Phoenix Shrine. Let my colorful Phoenix King be the host." "There's really no need." The Phoenix Wu Grand Sage waved her hand. She looked behind Phoenix Envoy number 9 and asked, "Do you have a map of the 10,000 demon realm?" "Map?" Phoenix Envoy number 9 was a little confused. Huang Tong explained, "It's also called the realm map. It's something that records the location of the 10,000 demon realm." Chapter 4791. Oh, Junior understands. This thing is called boundary sense in my 10,000 demon realm. It is used to indicate the size and location of each demon realm. Phoenix Emissary number 9 took out a phoenix feather from her wing and offered it respectfully. Although it looked like she pulled it out from her wings, Xiao Hua and the others had learned from Little White Dragon that this was a space demon tool similar to the 3 continents Chengkuan pouch in the demon realm. It was called Pouch. The Flying Feather clan usually called it Feather Pouch and the Beast clan called it Beast Pouch. Sure enough, Feng Wu took the phoenix feather and saw it clearly. This was a shiny feather that had been refined. It was faintly flowing with 5 colors. This feather was naturally used by the phoenix race to record things. It was similar to the beast skin of the 1,000 demons sacred realm. Of course, the feather of the 10,000 demon realm had to be checked with the unique spiritual sense of the spirit race in the 10,000 demon realm. This was also briefly mentioned by Dai Er earlier. However, Feng Wu did not say anything. He released his Yuan Shin in a very simple and crude manner. When it landed on the boundary sense, the feather emitted a crackling sound. The 5-colored light turned into small bubbles. Feng Wu's Yuan Shin had broken through the restriction and entered. In just a moment, Feng Wu had already finished reading. He frowned slightly and handed the feather to Xiao Hua. Xiao Hua took the feather and scanned it with his divine sense. He easily entered it. He saw that the feather was somewhat different from the map of the hidden immortal continent. It seemed to be a space. The upper level had many light balls of different sizes and colors. There were some words in the light balls of the 10,000 demon realm. It was precisely the words of the Phoenix Sacred Realm, Sky-Splitting World, and so on. Moreover, there were some smaller light balls in the light balls. They also wrote something like Night Wind Void, Red Spirit Region, and so on. Obviously, these were the names of the demon realm. Looking at the middle level, there were also some light balls, but they had begun to turn gray. There were also words recorded on them. The lower level was completely dark. There were a lot of light balls, densely packed like duckweeds on a pond. When Xiaohua's divine sense came into contact with these duckweeds, the light balls expanded rapidly. A huge area was revealed. However, what Xiaohua didn't understand was that the edges of these balls of light, regardless of whether it was the top, middle, or bottom 3 layers, were all blank and gray. There were even many areas that were blue in addition to the gray. Outside of the blue, there were 3 seemingly boundless areas that were completely blood red. The 3 eye-catching names, Fear of the Great Wasteland, Dripping Dew Wasteland, and Wiping Dew Wasteland, were impressively marked on the blood red. Xiaohua pondered for a moment and understood that this blood red color was the wilderness he was in. It also meant that there was danger and the situation was unclear. As for the areas that were white, they must be places that the Phoenix Shrine or the great saint forces of the demon clan could not reach. Looking at the huge Wiping Dew Wasteland, Xiaohua was really a little scared. Although he didn't know where he entered the 10,000 demon realm, one thing was certain: he must have appeared at the other edge of the Wiping Dew Wasteland, and it was where the boundary was imprisoned. He had just flown for a year and it was probably just an inch above the boundary. Especially since even the great saint of the demon clan didn't dare to easily enter the Wiping Dew Wasteland, he actually swept through it. If he wasn't ignorant and fearless, then his luck was really good. Xiaohua wanted to ask Phoenix Emissary No. 9 about the Huatian realm and the location of the Metal and Wood Realm Mountain, but he didn't want Phoenix Emissary No. 9 to know his whereabouts. Anyway, as long as he reached the place where the spirit clan gathered in the 10,000 demon realm, who would he ask? So Xiaohua nodded at Feng Wu and returned the phoenix feather to her. Feng Wu looked at Phoenix Emissary No. 9 and smiled. This saint will accept this item. It won't hinder you from returning to the Phoenix Sacred World, right? It won't. Phoenix Emissary No. 9 hurriedly flapped her wings and replied, not to mention when the other sisters return, they also have realm sense on them. Even if they don't have realm sense, this junior can still return. That's good. Feng Wu withdrew her realm sense and looked into the distance. She pointed with her wings and said, that place is the Jade Azure Sea, right? The Phoenix Sacred World is in that direction? Yes, great saint. Phoenix Emissary No. 9 respectfully said, a million miles away is the Jade Azure Sea. After crossing the Jade Azure Sea, you will reach the place where the spirit clan gathers. We usually call it the spirit world. Fly half a year to the northwest and you will reach the Phoenix Shrine. Of course, at the edge of the Jade Azure Sea, my Phoenix Shrine has built a space portal. It won't take more than a few days to fly through the Black Void Road. Space portal? Black Void Road? Feng Wu was stunned. This was something that Dai, and Little White Dragon had never mentioned before. However, just from the name alone, it should be something similar to the teleportation formations and channels in the 4 major continents. Xiaohua was attentive and hurriedly asked after listening, Phoenix Emissary No. 9. Yes, great saint. Although Phoenix Emissary No. 9 didn't know which great saint Xiaohua was from the spirit clan. Seeing that the great saint of the Phoenix clan obeyed Xiaohua, she knew that Xiaohua's status was extremely high. She hurriedly bowed respectfully. Is there a space portal between the wasteland and the Jade Azure Sea? How long will it take for you to return from here and cross the Jade Azure Sea? Is there any danger in the Jade Azure Sea? Xiaohua asked several questions in a row. When Phoenix Emissary No. 9 heard this, her face immediately showed gratitude. She already understood the meaning of Xiaohua's question. She didn't dare to be negligent and hurriedly answered, Great Saint, you should know that there is no space portal built by the Phoenix Shrine in the wasteland because this place is too far away from the Phoenix Sacred World. Moreover, there are many innate space beasts in the wasteland. They can ambush the Black Void Road at any time, so no one dares to use it in the wasteland. Of course, this is the situation of my Phoenix Shrine. Whether other great saints built space portals in the wasteland or not, this junior doesn't know. As for the Jade Azure Sea, on the other side of the sea, there are some space portals from the spirit realm where the spirit clan gathered. However, the number is extremely small. When this junior came to the wasteland, I borrowed the Leopard Whale King's Qingshui space portal to go as deep as possible into the Jade Azure Sea. Back then, this junior had more than 10 sisters who flew from there to the wasteland. took 5 years. 3 sisters died in dangerous places, 2 sisters died in the stomach of sea beasts. How many phoenix envoys did your phoenix shrine send? Xiao Hua was a little surprised and asked curiously. Phoenix Emissary Number 9 had already asked this question. However, when Phoenix Emissary Number 9 heard it, she didn't feel displeased at all. She also didn't doubt the doubt in Xiao Hua's words. She respectfully replied, "This junior only knows that there are 17 Phoenix envoys with this junior. However, the wasteland is boundless. Even the border is not enough to be searched by hundreds of Phoenix envoys. If this junior's guess is correct, the king may have sent close to 1,000 Phoenix envoys." Close to 1,000 Phoenix envoys? Not to mention Xiao Hua, even Feng Wu was surprised. After all, they hadn't even seen a single phoenix feather in the Thousand Demons' sacred realm. However, no. Phoenix Emissary Number 9 was a little distressed. She said again, "It's already not bad that 300 survived. Moreover, to return from here we have to pass through the Blue Jade Sea." At this point, Phoenix Emissary Number 9 didn't say anything else. However, the meaning of seeking protection in her words was self-evident. Xiao Hua pondered for a moment. Looking at the clones, he smiled and said, "Waiting for 100 days is indeed a long time. Why don't we take the initiative to search?" With Feng Wu and Huang Tong as the center, we can also sense the aura of the Phoenix envoys. That's right. Fellow Taoist's idea is exactly what I'm thinking. Let's begin. Feng Wu nodded. Together with Huang Tong, she let out a clear cry and rushed into the sky. Xiao Hua brought Thunderbolt Immortal and the others to fly around. When they were out of the sight of Phoenix Emissary Number 9, Xiao Hua released Demon Venerable Shi. However, looking at the rolling demonic aura around Demon Venerable Shi, Xiao Hua was also puzzled. He didn't know if Demon Venerable Shi was also detected by the saint rankings of the Thousand Demons realm. With the help of the 9 great sages and the secret technique of the 9 provinces' great array, Xiao Hua and the other senses were like one person, covering an incredible range. Even so, it took them a full 10 days to find 272 Phoenix envoys. Moreover, these Phoenix envoys were the same as Phoenix Emissary Number 9. They were all seriously injured. If it weren't for Xiao Hua and the others, they probably wouldn't have been able to pass through the blockade of those ferocious beasts and gather at Phoenix Emissary Number 9's location. Seeing that these Phoenix envoys were all at the 6th or 7th level of origin energy, Xiao Hua was secretly shocked. They were only at the edge of the wasteland, but they were already so severely injured. When Xiao Hua returned, Phoenix Emissary Number 9 was overjoyed to see that 300 Phoenix envoys had survived. 400 was only her estimation. She actually didn't know how many Phoenix envoys had come to the wasteland. Of course, after meeting each other, the Phoenix envoys reported the situation. Phoenix Emissary Number 9, who was the smallest in number, became the leader. She also knew that the colorful Phoenix King had indeed sent out almost 1,200 Phoenix envoys to welcome Phoenix Parasol Grand Sage. It was a big move that hadn't been seen for many years. Unfortunately, in the face of the colorful Phoenix King's hospitality, Phoenix Parasol could only say sorry. He asked for the location and sent these Phoenix envoys into the Kunlun Wonderland. He then brought Xiao Hua and the others and flew towards the Azure Sea. Xiao Hua finally met the Phoenix envoys sent by the colorful Phoenix King and found the right direction. Both the Metal and Wood Dual World Mountain and the Huatian Realm were waiting in a distant place. In the Saint rankings, a group of great sages led by the original Shen Grand Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage of the 10,000 Demon Realm were eagerly waiting for the changes in the Saint rankings. At this moment, there were not only a few great sages in the Saint rankings, but also many great sages from various clans. The yellow tiger with fiery spots all over its body was the striped tiger king of the lower royal clan. The huge demonic lion with rainbow-colored body was the rainbow lion king of the lower royal clan. As for the sea beast with a huge face that all the great sages wanted, it was the leopard whale king from the clear water realm that Phoenix Emissary Number 9 mentioned earlier. Give it as a reward and thank you for all your support. Chapter 4792. There was a saying in the human race, where there are people, there will be Jianghu. This saying was suitable for the 10,000 Demon Realm and the great sages of the 10,000 Demon Realm. Within the saint rankings, the great sages were divided into different groups. The higher races, the lower races, and the Sea clan were grouped together. Of course, there were also those who were on good terms with the higher races and those who were on bad terms with the lower races. However, as the great sages discussed patiently, they all focused their attention on the saint rankings. Boom. A thunderous sound came from the void. Ka-ka-ka. A series of crackling sounds could be heard as lightning struck again. Quick. The great ape king was the most anxious. A great sage has been born. Quick, which spirit clan is it? The thunderbolt was like an ink brush, revealing a pitch-black color as it slowly landed on the holy board. However, what puzzled the saints was that wherever the thunderbolt landed, the entire holy board trembled. However, no words appeared on the stone tablet. After half a cup of tea's time, the thunderbolt turned into ink and disappeared. The holy board was still blank. How strange. Not just the great ape king, even the profound two grand sage revealed an expression of disbelief. He looked at the swift cherry grand sage and whispered, "Swift cherry, what is going on?" The swift cherry grand sage frowned slightly. His soft rabbit face shone with a holy light. The fire phoenix king, who had been watching from afar, could not help but feel warmth in his eyes. He hurriedly said, "Profound Nuan grand sage, since the saint board can sense the birth of this great saint, I believe this great saint must be within the laws of heaven and earth of the 10,000 demon realm. Perhaps this great saint's power is far beyond the saint board's capacity." The profound two grand sage did not reply. Instead, the great eagle king laughed coldly and said, "I don't know if this great sage can surpass the laws of the 10,000 demon realm. I only know that since he can come to the 10,000 demon realm, he cannot surpass the limits of the saint rankings. In the 10,000 demon realm, no spirit clan can surpass the saint rankings. I also know that this great sage is in the 10,000 demon realm." The leopard whale king's voice was sharp. "Won't we know if we go find this great sage?" The snow wolf king's gaze swept across the leopard whale king as he mocked. "That's right, the Jade Azure Sea is big enough. If you feel that you can find a great sage in the Jade Azure Sea, go ahead and find one. We won't stop you." Hee leopard whale king. The swift cherry great sage chuckled. "If these great sages came from the outer realm, there is an 80% to 90% chance that they are in the three great wastelands. In fact, there might be other great wastelands that we have yet to discover. Of course, if they were lucky enough to enter the spirit realm, I'm sure the various spirit kings would have already reported it to the various great sages, right?" Huff huff. The leopard whale king let out a strange sound and no longer spoke. The swift Sakura grand sage pondered for a moment before saying, "I have two ideas." "Great sage, please speak." Fire Phoenix King hurriedly said. Swift Cherry Grand Sage smiled at Fire Phoenix King and said, "First, I feel like this last time, the power of thunder will be different from before. There is a demonic power in the darkness. If I'm not mistaken, this great sage should have a demon bloodline." "Impossible." The great Eagle King shouted and denied, "The demon race does not belong to the spirit race, and the demon world is the mortal enemy of the 10,000 demon realm. How could the Saint Board record the bloodline of the demon race? I'm only saying that this great sage has a demon bloodline, not that this great sage is a demon." The swift Sakura Grand Sage was not angry and continued to speak with a gentle tone. "I can feel the aura of the demon race from this darkness. This is not wrong. The reason why the Saint Board can sense this great sage's birth is because this great sage has the bloodline of the spirit race. As for why it can't be written on the Saint Board, it's very obvious that the demon race cannot enter the Saint Board." Xan Xian Supreme Sage nodded and said, "That makes sense. However, the passage between the 10,000 demon realm and the demon world only appears once every 60,000 years. It's still very far away from 60,000 years. How could this demon race pass through the passage? Although the location of the passage is uncertain, most of it is in the Drain-Dew wasteland. We can just send the spirit race over to take a look." Fire Phoenix King hurriedly said, "Why don't we make wild guesses here?" Hearing that Fire Phoenix King wanted to send the spirit race over to the Drain-Dew wasteland, the colorful Phoenix King smiled. After all, the celestial phenomenon that Feng Wu attracted the power of the stars and moon was too sudden and too far away from the Saint Board. The great sages did not notice. The swift Sakura Grand Sage smiled again. "Everyone, don't be anxious. My second question is, we should make a slight judgment now to see if this great sage who has yet to appear is together with the 6 great sages before him." "What's the point of not being together?" The colorful Phoenix King did not understand. "It's very interesting." The swift Sakura Grand Sage smiled. "This unknown demon race great sage might be harmful to the 10,000 demon realm. However, the 6 great sages before him are from the spirit race. We can make friends with them." Kaka. As he spoke, the laws of heaven and earth appeared in the void again. This law condensed into lightning and landed on the Saint Board again. Also, the swift Sakura Grand Sage's eyes flashed with a strange light and could not help but exclaim. Looking at the lightning again, it was rougher than before and the stone tablet shook violently. After a few breaths, a line of words that were even more shocking than before appeared. Ancient celestial being, what? The flames around the profound star Grand Sage surged uncontrollably into the sky again as he exclaimed, This celestial being Great Sage, even the Saint Board can't determine which spirit race he is from? The profound star Grand Sage's exclamation was not only surprised but also a vague sense of uneasiness. In an instant, the entire Saint Board looked at each other and no one said a word. A great sage that even the Saint Board could not determine was not someone they could discuss. Damn it. At this moment, the colorful Phoenix King suddenly felt a sense of regret. A few years ago, she had hurriedly set up a plan to find the Phoenix race and Dragon race great sages before the other saints. However, looking at it now, she felt like she had shot herself in the foot. Not to mention whether the strange great sage who appeared later was together with the 6 great sages before him, just the fact that 6 great sages had come to the Phoenix Palace was probably not something she could deal with. If that's the case, the swift Sakura Grand Sage said, I can already be sure that the 6 great sages who appeared a few years ago are not together with the 2 great sages who appeared later. They should have come from different realms and just happened to be together at the same time. Send the order. The profound star Grand Sage said hurriedly, set up defenses in the dripping dew wasteland and see what the 2 great sages mean by coming here. That's not right. The Snow Wolf King said loudly, profound star Grand Sage, the Saint Board is still not closed. Could it be that another great sage is about to appear? Heavens! The colorful Phoenix King could not help but moan, there are already 8 great sages. Could there be a 9th? Since when did 2 great sages appear in the 10,000 demon realm within 100 years? There are at least 9 great sages. The Great Eagle King said coldly, and 9 great sages of unknown origins. As he spoke, crack crack. Another dark green lightning appeared and landed on the Saint Board with the sound of gods and ghosts crying. The entire Saint Board trembled and more than half of it even disappeared into the void, as if it was extremely afraid of this lightning. Oh my! The Snow Wolf King could not help but exclaim, could it be that this great sage is more powerful than the demon race bloodline from before? Crack. The lightning landed on the stone tablet. Before the words could appear, cracks appeared on the tablet. The lightning fell into the cracks and disappeared in an instant. Boom. The void naturally surged with pitch-black laws of heaven and earth and fell into the stone tablet. Unfortunately, after the darkness, the cracks did not recover and the Saint Board stopped moving. It was as if the cracks were the name of the new great sage. Not only the Fire Phoenix King and the other great sages, but even the profound star Grand Sage and the swift cherry Grand Sage of the Origin clan looked at each other, not knowing what was going on. Boom boom boom. After the time it took to brew a cup of tea, the peaceful saint rankings once again let out a deafening rumble. The giant stone tablet glowed with 9-colored light, and a powerful will of heaven and earth pushed all the saints out of the saint rankings. The swift cherry Grand Sage suddenly seemed to have thought of something, and his eyes were filled with terror as he stared at the crack. After the great sages left, the mysterious area glowed with endless brilliance. Thousands of light shadows rushed out from the Saint Board and turned into lightning that fell all over the 10,000 demon realm. Then, the 9 colors gradually disappeared and turned into a huge vortex. The pitch-black will of heaven and earth seeped out from it. The Saint Board slowly rose into the darkness and disappeared. After a few breaths, the sky turned into a clear light again. Looking at the lightning that fell all over the 10,000 demon realm, the great sages knew that the 10,000 demon realm would soon be in an uproar. The names of Feng Wu, Huang Tong, Xiao Hua and the other great sages would be celebrated in the 10,000 demon realm. However, they also knew that other than the great sages who could enter the Saint Board to watch, no one else would know that there were 9 great sages in the 10,000 demon realm today. However, even if there were 7 great sages, it was still an unprecedented grand event. Since the Saint Board had been retracted, the Leopard Whale King and the others' bodies flashed and were about to fly into the distance. However, at this moment, the Snow Wolf King suddenly looked around and asked curiously, why isn't Heavenly King Hua here? Didn't this guy like to do all sorts of weird things? Could it be that after disappearing for a period of time, he has completely changed? Kiki. The Great Eagle King looked at the profound star Grand Sage and laughed. That suave Heavenly King Hua must be feeling guilty and doesn't dare to come. Feeling guilty about what? The Snow Wolf King was puzzled. He looked around again and asked, who did he offend? Haha, who knows? The Great Ape King laughed. He stretched out his arms and tore open the void. His huge ape body rushed into the void and disappeared. The great eagle king laughed and flapped his wings and flew away like a meteor. Chapter 4793. Since Huang Tong didn't want to go, who in this world could threaten him? Phoenix Emissary Number 9 and the others had no choice but to give up. After flying for more than 10 days they were close to the space portal. Sea beasts patrolling the clear waters came to welcome them. Huang Tong let out a clear cry and followed Xiaohua into the sky. They flapped their wings and instantly disappeared. Phoenix Emissary Number 9 and the others respectfully bowed and sent Huang Tong and Xiaohua away. Then they hurriedly flew to where the sea beasts were. After asking, they found out that the leopard whale king was not in the demon realm. The Phoenix emissaries were overjoyed and urged the sea beasts to go to the space portal. They wanted to pass the news of Feng Wu and the others going to the center of the spiritual realm to the colorful Phoenix King as soon as possible. They hoped that the colorful Phoenix King could come and welcome them before the other great sages saw them. Unfortunately, the Phoenix emissary and the colorful Phoenix King's plan was destined to fail. Xiaohua and the others flew for another 10 days and flew to the edge of the land. They immediately concealed their auras and flew to the other side of the land. Sure enough, more than a month passed. Although there were many fierce beasts running wild, there were fewer fierce beasts that dared to challenge the auras of Feng Wu and the other great sages. Of course, in this wilderness the spirit clan was almost extinct. No spirit clan dared to live in this place where fierce beasts were rampant. Xiaohua's divine sense swept over and looked at the tens of thousands of miles around. He stopped in midair and whispered to Feng Wu, "Phoenix Saint, what do you think of this place?" Feng Wu and Huang Tong released their divine sense at the same time and carefully looked for a moment. They nodded and said, "The mountains here are high and the water is dangerous. There are fierce beasts nearby, but compared to what we saw before, it's already considered gentle. I agree with you, this place is suitable for the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm." "Okay, since that's the case, let's put the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm here." Huang Tong said, "We can only watch over them for a while, not forever. Their lives in the future will depend on themselves." Xiaohua took out the Kunlun mirror with a smile and said, "The demon clan has a high chance of survival in the 10,000 demon realm. Didn't you see that many of the spirit clan we met were very similar to the demon clan in the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm? Make a copy of the world consciousness and give it to the demon clan." Feng Wu reminded Xiaohua. Of course, eyes prepared. As Xiaohua spoke, he activated the Kunlun mirror. Wherever the light beam landed, the demons of the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm slowly appeared. Boom boom boom. Seeing the demons fly out one by one, their bodies expanding, Xiaohua looked at Feng Wu and Huang Tong with joy in his eyes. When all the demons came out of the Kunlun Immortal Realm, the demon kings of each demon clan came to meet them. Feng Wu told them about the situation in the 10,000 demon realm and handed them the beast skin engraved by Yuan Yan. Finally she said, "Everyone, this is all that Jinren Xiao and I can help you with. You will have to rely on yourselves in the future. You have to live well. You have the hope of the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm." "Yes, I understand." The demon kings looked at the unfamiliar environment and felt the power of the stars and moon that was even more abundant than in the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm. They breathed in the demon chi that was even denser than in the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm. While they were overjoyed, they also trembled. They bowed respectfully and said, "I will not disappoint the great saints." Also, Xiaohua thought for a moment and said, "I don't think I need to say more. You all understand that among the descendants of the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm, there are also the Dragon Clan, the Sea Clan, and the Human Clan. You must remember that there are no Dragon Clan or Human Clan in the 10,000 Demons Realm. The Dragon Clan and Human Clan that you see are your brothers. I don't dare to ask you to live in harmony for 10,000 years, but I beg you to not fight among yourselves for 1,000 years. You must first take care of your own roots." Xiaohua's voice was not heavy, but it was like thunder engraved in the hearts of the demon kings. They hurriedly knelt on the ground and kowtowed, "Rest assured, Jinren Xiao. No matter how cruel and unscrupulous we are, we will not do anything to the human clan from the 3 continents." Xiaohua knew that these words might be believed for 100 years, but who could guarantee that after 1,000 years, these words would still exist in the world? He smiled and helped the demon kings up. He nodded at Feng Wu and Huang Tong. The 3 great saints rushed into the sky and disappeared instantly. The demon kings had already discussed in the Kunlun Immortal Realm. At this time they did not dare to delay and hurriedly acted according to the plan. They knew very well that in this strange world, if they were prepared early, they would have a chance to survive. Xiaohua put down the demons of the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm and kept Feng Wu and Huang Tong into the space. He asked Jinren Yun to come out. Then, under Jinren Yun's suggestion, they followed the edge of the land and looked for a suitable place in the Jade Azure Sea. The Jade Azure Sea was not like the land. Although there were fewer sea beasts near the land, the seawater was still yellow and not suitable for the Sea Clan to live. After flying for more than a month, they still could not find a suitable place for the Sea Clan to live. Finally, Jinren Yun stopped and looked at the boundless Jade Azure Sea. He said to Xiao Hua, "Fellow Taoist Xiao, you don't have to look anymore. If you want to find an ocean similar to the 3 rivers and 4 seas of the 4 continents, I'm afraid it's impossible in the 10,000 demons realm." "Fellow Taoist, what do you mean?" Xiao Hua had already understood what Jinren Yun meant. He asked, "Are we sending these Sea Clan and Dragon Clan into the sea?" "That's right." Jinren Yun nodded. Since it's seawater, it can allow the Sea Clan and Dragon Clan to live. Although the seawater is different from before, if the other sea beasts can live well in it, why can't the Dragon Clan of the 4 continents? If the Dragon Clan can't even overcome this little difficulty, even if they live, what's the use? Yes. Xiaohua smiled. The Dragon Clan has always been favored by the heavens. If they can't even adapt to this environment, can they still be called the Dragon Clan? Let's do it here, Jinren Yun said. There are no powerful sea beasts within hundreds of thousands of miles of the sea, and it's also very far from the land. It's enough for the Dragon Clan and Sea Clan to live and reproduce. All right. Xiao Hua nodded, then took out the Kunlun mirror and sent the Dragon Clan and Sea Clan out. As expected, the Dragon Clan and Sea Clan also expanded in size. After the Dragon Generals of the 4 seas, the Dragon Generals of the Dragon Islands, and the Demon Beasts of the Sea Clan had adapted to the new environment, they hurriedly came over and greeted Jinren Yun. Similarly, Jinren Yun gave them the dragon shells and sea shells that were engraved with the situation of Myriad Demon Realm, and then instructed some of them to follow Xiao Hua. Like the demon kings of the sacred realm of Myriad Demons, these dragon generals and sea clan generals had already discussed and hurriedly dived into the sea. Although the seawater made them extremely uncomfortable, at least there was a way to survive, and it was much better than waiting in the 3 continents to be killed by the world-destroying mayflies. After sending the Demon Clan, Sea Clan and Dragon Clan away, Xiao Hua hurriedly followed Jinren Yun back to the land. After that, he found Feng Wu, Huang Tong, Buddha Maitreya, the World Sovereign, and Reverend Thunder. The 6 great saints once again released their divine sense to search for a suitable place for the human race to live in the remote areas of the spirit realm. Xiao Hua was destined to be disappointed. After searching for 3 months, all he could see were barren hills and turbulent rivers and ferocious beasts. There was no place with beautiful scenery at all. Seeing that they had wasted a lot of time, Reverend Thunder said unhappily, "Fellow Taoist Xiao, don't forget that this is the Myriad Demon Realm and there are no humans here. How could there be a place suitable for the human race to live?" Xiao Hua sighed and stopped in midair. He looked at the ferocious beasts that were crawling on the ground in fear because of his aura and said, "This poor Taoist is also aware of what fellow Taoists said. But when I think about those naive students and young monks who have to live in this dangerous place, I can't bear it. I always want to do more for them. Of course, I also know that if I can't let go, they can't live on their own. People have to move forward and the human race has to make progress." Reverend Yun understood the sorrow in Xiao Hua's heart. He knew that he was like a hen protecting the fortune gate with his own wings in the 3 continents, and here, he was worried about the survival of the human race. "Fellow Taoist, you can't let go, you can never let go." Speaking of this, Reverend Yun looked at Maitreya Buddha and smiled. "What do you think, revered one?" Maitreya Buddha said, "Namo Maitreya Buddha, to be honest, I have the same contradiction as Bodhisattva. For the past few months I have also been struggling. Many words and Buddhist principles are easy to say, but when it comes to doing them, they are extremely difficult. Previously, when Reverend Yun released the dragon race into the sea, I felt that it was normal, but today I have to put the Arhat in such a difficult place I really don't want to." Reverend Thunder shouted, "But the problem is, there is no place suitable for the human race to live in this 1,000 demons sacred realm. The human race's body is too weak." Huang Tong nodded, "It is too difficult to live in the Myriad Demon Realm. This is probably the reason why there is no human race in the Myriad Demon Realm." "How about this?" Feng Wu pondered for a moment and said, "Why don't we bring the human race to the Dawn Rain continent? Even if we can't break the array in the end, they can still survive in the Dawn Rain continent. Of course, if it is possible, fellow Taoists can also take them into the Xinhua continent." Reverend Thunder suggested, "On the Xinhua continent, there are Tao sects, Confucian cultivators and Buddhist sections. It is no different from the 3 continents. Xiaohua was silent. What Reverend Thunder suggested was the simplest and best way, and it didn't require much effort. Even the demon race in the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm and the dragon race of the Four Seas could also be taken into the Xinhua continent. There was no need to coldly leave them in the Myriad Demon Realm and let them die on their own. Furthermore, Feng Wu's suggestion was also reasonable. The Dawn Rain continent was the world of the human race. Although the human race in the three continents were Confucian cultivators and Buddhist sects, they could still see the human race. After all, they could still live and wouldn't become food for the demon beasts in the Myriad Demon Realm. However, was this the intention of immortal Emperor Go-Chin, the four great families, the 100 schools, the Dipankara Buddha, and the Mahavarakana Buddha? By doing this, was Xiaohua keeping his promise? Chapter 4794. That's weird. What's going on? The Snow Wolf King looked at everyone as if he was asking for help. The Exanshin Supreme Sage snorted coldly. A light that was brighter than the sun shone. His body quickly dimmed and turned into a silhouette. Then the silhouette dissipated and disappeared. The saints all left. The Rapid Cherry Grand Sage whispered, "Fire Phoenix King." "Yes, I'm here." The Fire Phoenix King, who was pretending to fly, quickly retracted her wings and replied, "If you have nothing to do, can you come with me to the Huatian realm? I have something to discuss with you," the Rapid Cherry Grand Sage said. His gaze fell on the saint ranking that disappeared. He was clearly distracted. Nothing. The Fire Phoenix King hurriedly replied. "I have nothing to do recently." The Rapid Cherry Grand Sage looked apologetic. He retracted his attention and said to the Fire Phoenix King, "Why don't you send a message first? I'll wait for you." The Fire Phoenix King hurriedly flapped her wings and said, "No need. All the saints are going to find these 7 great saints. I'm sure you'll send a Phoenix envoy. The Phoenix God Palace won't send one. The left and right Phoenix envoys are phoenixes of the Phoenix Sacred Realm." The Phoenix King had already flown out. Hearing the Fire Phoenix King's words, she snorted coldly and said, "The Phoenix God Palace is the Phoenix God Palace. The Phoenix God Palace is the Phoenix God Palace. Fire Phoenix King, you're overthinking it." "Yes," the Rapid Cherry Grand Sage said with concern. The 9 saints entering the demon realm must have caused a huge uproar. All the spirit clans are dealing with it. The Phoenix clan should be no exception. You can return to the Phoenix Sacred Realm yourself. "No need." The Fire Phoenix King laughed. 2 of the 9 saints are great saints of the Phoenix clan. If they have evil intentions, I, as a great saint, am no match for them. If they don't have evil intentions, I'll welcome them. The other spirit clans are dealing with it. I don't have to. Since you're going to the Huatian realm, it must be for the sake of the spirit clans. That's the most important thing now. I'll go with you." The Rapid Cherry Grand Sage smiled. A faint moonlight appeared on his face. After that, the Fast Cherry Grand Sage flew away like a beam of light. The Fire Phoenix King flapped her wings and followed him. The Radiant Phoenix King snorted coldly. Multicolored light surged and flew far away as well. All the saints went off to execute their own mystiques. Under the clear light, only the Snow Wolf King was a little hesitant. She carefully looked at where the clear light flashed, then looked thoughtfully in the direction where the swift Sakura Grand Sage had disappeared. She even looked in the direction where the colorful Phoenix King had left. A cold smile appeared at the corner of her mouth, then she hurriedly left. Under the lead of Feng Wu and Huang Tong, Xiaohua quickly arrived at the Blue Jade Sea. This Jade Azure Sea was different from the 4 seas of the 4 great continents. The sky above the sea was filled with whirlwinds. The whirlwinds collided with each other and formed many whirlpools in the sky. These whirlpools were of different sizes and they all produced an extremely strong suction force that tore everything in the sky apart. How could the surface of the sea be calm when there was wind in the sky? Turbid waves rose into the sky and hit the shore. The wind and waves were hundreds of feet high, blocking the vision of Xiaohua and the others. What was special was that the seawater of the Blue Jade Sea was not green but orange. It was extremely turbid. An inexplicable aura came from the seawater, making it difficult for ordinary humans to get close. Xiaohua released his divine sense. Within tens of thousands of miles, there were no fishes or shrimps. There were mostly mud and turbid objects. Occasionally there were some strange sea beasts sleeping at the bottom of the sea. Their powerful aura passed through the seawater and covered the nearby sea area. This barren land is nothing more than this. Xiaohua sighed and said to the celestial being, Taoist Witch and the others, "Fellow Taoists, the 10,000 demon realm is a place with many strong cultivators. Since we have been detected by the demon clan, we have to be prepared. I remember that the 10,000 demon realm is the same as the immortal realm. Soul cultivation is a forbidden technique, so Taoist witch, please return to the space to cultivate. Demon venerable sure. No need to say more. Return to the space and stay there. Fellow celestial being, you have to work harder. Try to refine the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper before we return to the dawn rain continent. Who knows, we might need it when we break the formation. The rest of you can come with us. The celestial being, Taoist witch and demon venerable sure entered the space. Immortal Yun thought for a moment and said, forget it, I will also enter the space. After all, the dragon clan is rare in the 10,000 demon realm. I don't want to cause trouble for you. Xiaohua smiled and said, if you say so, I can't reveal myself. How about this? Immortal Thunderbolt laughed and said, we will return to the space to rest. Fellow Taoist Xiao and fellow Taoist Huang Tong will go to the Hua Tian realm together. If fellow Taoist Xiao thinks it's okay, you can transform into the form of Feng Wu to deceive others. Feng Wu has become a great saint, Huang Tong can't escape. Immortal Yun has become a great saint, I can't escape either. Xiaohua smiled and said, but I am a little curious. How did the saint ranking find out our names? If I change my name to Xiaoming now, won't I be able to escape from the saint ranking? But the question is, will fellow Taoist Xiao change your name? Immortal Yun asked with a smile. Xiaohua shrugged and replied, I want to try and see if the saint ranking changes. Alright. Feng Wu said, fellow Taoist Xiao, there are some descendants of the golden-winged rock entrusted to I in the Xinhua continent. When we fly to the place where the spirit clan gathers, we must find a suitable place to send them out. That's right. Immortal Yun also said, the descendants of Dragon Island and the Dragon Palace of the Four Seas should also be sent away as soon as possible. Xiaohua nodded and said, I already have a plan. The humans, demons, and oceanic clans that we brought with us are too many. If we were to be placed in the territory of the spirit clan, we will definitely attract attention and inevitably bring disaster to them. I see a lot of grayish-white at the edge of the boundary. I think it must be a place where the spirit clan seldom visits. Why don't we leave some seeds there for the living beings of the 3 continents? Good. Immortal Yun nodded and said, fellow Taoist, you are the most experienced in this matter. I'll leave it to you. After saying that, Immortal Yun flew into the void. Immortal Thunder, Feng Wu, and the others did not hesitate and also flew into the void. Fellow Taoist Huang Tong. Xiaohua looked at Huang Tong, who was using her boundary sense to explore, and said with a smile, I don't know the way, so please lead the way. Huang Tong opened her mouth and swallowed the phoenix feather, then said, fellow Taoist, don't worry. Please follow me. After saying that, Huang Tong flapped her wings and rushed into the wind and waves. It took the phoenix emissary of the Phoenix Palace 5 years to pass through the Jade Ocean, and she suffered a great loss. Xiaohua and Huang Tong naturally did not need so much time, but it only took them slightly more than 2 years to reach the clear water region, where the leopard whale king of the oceanic clans was located. Huang Tong took out her boundary sense and confirmed it again. Then she said to Xiaohua, Xiaohua, this is the clear water region, but there is no indication of the location of the spatial portal in my boundary sense. Yes, according to Phoenix Emissary number 9 and the boundary sense, this place is not far from the seaside. Xiaohua turned his head and looked at the towering waves, and then at the misty water vapor. He smiled bitterly and said, this Jade Ocean is indeed amazing. From the boundary sense, the closest distance to this place is from the edge of the Bobo wasteland. And according to the experience of the Phoenix Palace, this route is also the most reliable and safest. But even so, in these 2 years we might have encountered 4 sea beasts at the peak of 9th grade, and 1 flying beast at the 10th grade, right? That's right. Huang Tong's face was also filled with bitterness as she answered, I have the deepest impression of these 4 sea beasts. They have different divine abilities and they are arrogant. They are not at a disadvantage when fighting against us. Although we have spared them a few times, they still forced us and we had no choice but to kill them. That flying beast at the 10th grade. How should I put it? I think it has lived for millions of years. Otherwise, it would not be so powerful that even the 2 of us together could not defeat it. Even the spirit-slaying Yuan light that never failed could not kill it. Fortunately, you released the other cultivators from the space and scared this guy away. If he still did not leave, you and I would be in trouble. No choice, these sea beasts and flying beasts are not of the spirit clan, and do not have much spiritual intelligence. But in this unique world of the 10,000 demon realm, To be able to cultivate divine abilities that are more powerful than the Spirit Clan's great sage, they should be called Ren Rue in our human race. Normally when I meet them I will avoid them, I am afraid it is not auspicious to kill them. Xiao Hua smiled and said, from the looks of it, this Jade Ocean is no less dangerous than the Bo Wasteland. It cannot be compared to the 4 seas of the 4 great continents. Previously I thought that Phoenix Emissary and the others took 5 years, and we only needed half a year. But I did not expect that not only are the sea beasts ferocious, but there are also many space traps on the surface of the sea. Our escape techniques cannot be fully activated. This is not a big deal. We seem to have not met the space beasts that Phoenix Emissary number 9 mentioned. They are the enemies that I am most afraid of meeting. Huang Tong also sighed, of course only in such a dangerous world, there are great sages who have surpassed the 9th level of elemental power. Okay, I will release the Phoenix emissaries from the Phoenix Shrine and let them find the space door themselves. We will just escort them to the place. Xiao Hua said and took out the Kunlun mirror. He first released Feng Wu, then released Phoenix Emissary number 9 and the others. Phoenix Emissary number 9 and the others saw that they had arrived at the clear water region and were overjoyed. They thanked Feng Wu respectfully and still wanted to invite Feng Wu to the Phoenix Shrine. But how could Xiao Hua and the others agree? Huang Tong flapped her wings and said, you all go back to the Phoenix Shrine and tell the colorful Phoenix King that I have received her kindness. If fate allows it, I will definitely visit her. Today we really have urgent matters, so we will not disturb you. Sorry, I edited it last night and did not have time to upload it. I did not pay attention when I was writing in the morning. Make up for it. Because there are not many chapters left recently, I will not update at night. Chapter 4795. For 2 hours Xiao Hua looked into the distance and did not say anything. Feng Wu and Reverend Yun did not say anything either and just waited quietly. As for Buddha Maitreya, he kept his mouth shut, as he knew Xiao Hua would make a decision in the end. Sure enough, when Xiao Hua retracted his gaze from the blue ocean in the distance, he said softly, yes, Reverend Yun is right. Humans always have to make progress. Being under the protection of others is like a flower in a greenhouse, never able to experience the wind and rain, never able to grow. Then Xiao Hua raised his hand and pointed at a place in the distance, saying, I remember there is a flat place with a circumference of more than 1,000 miles where we passed by just now. This flat place is sheltered by mountains and ancient trees. It can be the refuge of our human race. Reverend Thunderbolt asked curiously, just a flat place is enough? Could it be that fellow Taoist Xiao already has other ideas? Indeed. Xiao Hua smiled. Fellow Taoists, I presume you haven't seen the big cities of cultivators on Dawn Rain continent? If we can build a big city on this flat place and deploy a capital star formation near it, I think we can protect the safety of these descendants of the human race. A big city of cultivators? Reverend Thunderbolt shook his head. Of course I haven't seen it, but I've seen the city walls of Confucian cultivators. They are so small that they don't have any defensive power. Fellow Taoist, instead of building a big city, why not build a magic formation? The magic formation is the gift we give them. Xiao Hua said in a relaxed tone as he already had an idea. But this big city is the foundation for them to establish their lives. Namo Maitreya, I get it now. Buddha Maitreya said with a smile. They can't control the magic formation, but the big city can be strengthened and rebuilt. Or perhaps, when they are strong enough in the future, they can also deploy a magic formation in the big city. Bodhisattva's action is to teach people how to fish. I'm ashamed, but it was your reminder that made me think of this. Xiao Hua explained. Besides, I think that since we humans have come here, there is no need to divide ourselves into Taoists, Confucians and Buddhas. We can just mix together. All he had to do was to divide them into different areas within the city of 1,000 miles so that they could cultivate on their own. When they are strong enough in the future, they can go out alone and build the city. Of course. Feng Wu chuckled. I presume you didn't release the Black Bear and the others because you were planning to protect the human race, right? At that time, I was thinking of having He Xiong and the others protect my Fortune Gate's disciples. Since we're together now, we might as well protect them together. Xiao Hua doesn't hide his thoughts and says, this poor Taoist will release the Immortal Palace's immortal generals and Thunder Monastery's protectors and listen to their opinions. If they are willing, then we will do it this way. We will quickly help them build the city. If they aren't willing, then follow us to Dawn Rain continent. Alright. All the saints agreed. Their bodies moved slightly as they flew in all directions to explore the terrain of the mountains and prepare to set up the formation. Actually, with their strength, there was no need for them to go there personally. They could just scan the area with their divine sense. However, thinking that this was the 1,000-year plan of the human race, and Xiaohua attached great importance to it, they didn't dare to be negligent and carefully checked. Seeing that his clones left, Xiaohua took out the Kunlun mirror. First, he asked the immortal generals and protectors to come out. These humans were different from the demon race and the dragon race. Their bodies fell into the 10,000 demon realm, but there were no special changes. Some of the immortal generals even felt extremely uncomfortable when they used their techniques. Xiaohua was not in a hurry to explain everything. First, he let them adapt to the 10,000 demon realm's origin energy. After half an hour, seeing that Feng Wu and the others were standing around, he explained the situation of the 10,000 demon realm. Then he looked at the Confucian cultivators and Buddhist disciples and said, "This old man has followed the previous agreement with Immortal Emperor Go-Chin, the 4 great clans, the 100 schools of thought, and the Vairocana revered Buddha to bring you to the 10,000 demon realm. However, the danger of the 10,000 demon realm is far beyond this old man's expectations. Therefore this old man will give you an additional choice. If you are willing, you can follow this old man to the Dawn Rain continent. Although that is where the Tao sect is prosperous, it is still the human race's world. You will not be eaten by the demonic beasts here. Of course, if you don't want to go, this old man can still help you build a city here, and lay down a grand formation outside the city. This will be your and my Fortune Gate's disciples' place to settle down in the future." One of the immortal generals was a little surprised. Master Xiao Lei, the Fortune Gate's disciples, are not going to follow Master Xiao Lei to the Dawn Rain continent? Isn't that where the Tao sect is prosperous? Why are they not going there? This. Xiaohua smiled. This old man is not sure yet. After a while they will also have to make a choice. If the Fortune Gate is also in this big city, will we be divided into different areas? A Buddhist protector asked. Xiaohua nodded. Yes, this old man has just said it. The immortal generals and Buddhist protectors discussed for a moment and replied, "Good, Taoist Xiao knows that we are willing to stay here." Good. Xiaohua did not delay and agreed. He ordered his avatars to set up the Capital Star Formation and Pleiades Devil Devouring Immortal Formation. Then he released the Confucian cultivators and Buddhist sect disciples from the Kunlun Immortal Realm. After they had gathered, he released the Fortune Gate disciples from the Xinhua continent and some puppets to help the Confucian cultivators and Buddhist sect disciples build a big city. Building a formation and a big city naturally could not be done in a day. After more than a month, the Capital Star Formation and Pleiades Devil Devouring Immortal Formation were gradually completed. The Thunderbolt Taoist and other avatars stopped and taught some Fortune Gate disciples to familiarize themselves with the formation. They began to display their abilities and each took charge of a part of the big city. More than a month later, the big city was about to be completed. The Confucian cultivators and Buddhist sect disciples were already familiar with the 2 formations. Xiaohua flew to the side and released Li Xiang, Xiong Yi, Black Bear Spirit, White Lion and Golden Eagle. When the Black Bear Spirit, White Lion and Golden Eagle landed in the 10,000 demon realm, their bodies naturally grew. They were pleasantly surprised to see the unfamiliar 10,000 demon realm. They were so happy that they could not speak. Xiaohua looked at Li Xiang and Xiong Yi who were not used to it and patiently explained the situation in the 10,000 demon realm to them. Then he said, "The Confucian cultivators and Buddhist sect disciples have decided to stay in the 10,000 demon realm. What are your choices?" Li Xiang and Xiong Yi smiled bitterly and said, "Master, you are the Fortune Gate sect master. We will choose whatever you say." Xiaohua looked at the 2 disciples and sighed, "This old man is tired. Let this old man be lazy for once. This is related to your survival. Why don't you 2 make a choice?" "Actually, Master." Xiong Yi smiled and said, "It's not hard to choose. When this disciple left the 3 continents with Master, wasn't the purpose of leaving behind the inheritance for the Fortune Gate? There is no difference between staying in the 10,000 demon realm and Dawn Rain continent. Master's wish and senior brother's wish can be fulfilled. The Confucian cultivators and Buddhist sect disciples chose to stay in the 10,000 demon realm because they are afraid that they will be destroyed by our Tao sect. Rather than that, they might as well stay here. Or maybe they have received orders from Immortal Emperor Go-Chen and Vairocana revered world that they can only stay in the 10,000 demon realm. They are strictly not allowed to go to the Dawn Rain continent?" Li Xiang smiled and said, "Master, the heaven and earth origin energy in the 10,000 demon realm is very strange. When this disciple absorbs it into his body, it is very harmful to his nascent soul. This is extremely disadvantageous to our Tao sect's cultivation." "Ah, you don't have to worry about this." The lightning master laughed and said, "This old man has refined some pills that can help you deal with this strange heaven and earth origin energy." "Master," Li Xiang replied, "dealing with it is only temporary. It cannot be eradicated. Our Dao sect disciples will not be able to adapt to such a harsh environment without several generations of effort. Our Fortune Gate disciples' current strength may not be able to withstand it. Rather than that, it is better to go to the Dawn Rain continent." "You all want to go to the Dawn Rain continent?" Xiaohua was a little surprised. Xiongyi also seemed to understand and nodded. "Indeed. Our Dao sect is different from Confucianism and Buddhism. This place is not suitable for our Dao sect disciples to cultivate. We do not have to be like them and insist on staying in the 10,000 demon realm. We have a better choice." Since he already said that he wanted to let Xiongyi and Li Xiang make their own choice, Xiaohua also repeatedly respected their opinions. He nodded and said, "All right then. Since you guys want to go to the Dawn Rain continent, then this old man will send you guys to the Dawn Rain continent." Then Xiaohua said to the Black Bear, Golden Eagle and White Lion, "What do you all think?" The Golden Eagle and White Lion were a little hesitant and looked at the Black Bear Spirit. The Black Bear Spirit smiled and said, "Master, this 10,000 demon realm is the paradise of our demon race. Although we are demon race, we are also Fortune Gate disciples. Since Li Xiang and Xiongyi cannot stay in the 10,000 demon realm, we are willing to stay in the 10,000 demon realm and bring the Fortune Gate's foundation to the 10,000 demon realm." "Good." Xiaohua nodded and said with a smile, "The Dawn Rain continent is a human's continent, there is no demon race. It is not convenient for you all to go there. Why don't you all stay here?" "Thank you, Master." The Black Bear, Golden Eagle and White Lion were all happy. However, after Xiaohua, Xiongyi and Li Xiang were sent into the space and released from the Fortune Gate, the Black Bear suddenly knelt on the ground and said to Xiaohua, "Master, why are you here?" Xiaohua hurriedly helped the Black Bear up, but the Black Bear kowtowed and cried, "Master, this Black Bear is the Black Bear who guards your cave. Wherever you go, this little one will follow. This little one knows that staying in the 10,000 demon realm to help Master build the Fortune Gate is very honorable, and this is what this little one should do, but this little one does not want to leave Master. This little one wants to guard the cave for Master. Please forgive this little one for not having ambition. I have failed to live up to Master's expectations." Chapter 4796. Xiaohua looked at the Black Bear Spirit, his eyes slightly red, not knowing how to answer. The Black Bear Spirit was in the limelight at Black Wind Ridge, and was considered a capable assistant to Xiaohua. He had helped Xiaohua a lot with Qin Xiaoyao. But as Xiaohua's Cultivation Sword, the Fortune Gate Strength Sword, and the Black Bear Spirit was no longer outstanding, not to mention Qin Xiaoyao. The Black Bear Spirit was able to follow Xiaohua to the upper realm, but Qin Xiaoyao stayed in the soaring Dragon Mountain range, and now Xiaohua didn't even know his cultivation. However, a person's life also seemed to be like this. Many people at different times were eye-catching embellishments and even dazzling protagonists, but as time passed they were reduced to passers-by. For Qin Xiaoyao, Xiaohua's attention to him at this time was probably a kind of flattery to kill him. As for the Black Bear Spirit, Xiaohua would occasionally compare him to Yuan Tongtian, Six-Eared Macaque, and even Prince Lan. Xiaohua was grateful for the Black Bear Spirit's loyalty, and wanted to give him more opportunities, and this 10,000 demon realm was an excellent opportunity. Don't worry. Xiaohua smiled. "This old man left you here not because I don't want you anymore, but because I want to give you a chance to become a demon king. Black Bear, it's not that this old man wants to criticize you, but your strength is actually much weaker than the Golden Eagle and White Lion. You borrowed this old man's light to become the boss of the 3 demon kings. Moreover, this old man knows your loyalty and has been thinking about raising your strength all these years, but your foundation is shallow, and you are similar to Xiongyi and the others. No matter how much you raise your strength, you will not be able to compete with Ao Sheng and Jianghu. And this 10,000 demon realm is the demon race's holy land. It is the best place for you to raise your strength and be reborn. As long as you cultivate here for 10,000 years, with the things this old man left you, you will definitely reach the height of a Sun Realm Master, which is the realm of the 3 continents 9th grade. Master. The Black Bear Spirit was still kneeling on the ground, unwilling to get up, and begged, "Even if this little one cultivates to the Sun Realm 9th grade, 10th grade, what about Master? Are you in the 10,000 demon realm?" This Xiaohua rubbed his nose, feeling that his nose was sour, and his heart was filled with complex feelings. He said in a low voice, Master still has other things to do. Moreover, even if Master brings you to Dawn Rain Continent, Master still can't be by your side. Master will have to leave this realm in the end. Black Bear, this is a choice. It's a helpless choice in life. Not waiting for Xiaohua to finish speaking, the Black Bear spirit interrupted Xiaohua's words in a rare instance and said anxiously, Master, this lowly one doesn't want any choice. This little one doesn't know the consequences. Master knows the consequences of every choice I make. Master gave me this choice to make things difficult for me. To shout a Master to be to the point, to the Demon King, to the demon, to the demon, to the Namo Mithriya Buddha sighed. Black Bear is right. Although Namo Mithriya Buddha was setting up the array with his doppelgangers in the distance, he knew the situation clearly. He couldn't help but lament in Xiaohua's heart. They don't know the consequences of making a choice, but we know the consequences of making a choice. Although we gave them the right to make a choice, we're actually making it difficult for them. Xiaohua shook his head. This is different. We can take over the ordinary choices, but we still have to listen to them when it comes to the crucial choices. Then Xiaohua looked at the Black Bear spirit and said, You should know that this old man will ascend soon. In fact, if it wasn't for the world-destroying mayfly in the 3 continents, this old man can ascend now. Once this old man leaves this realm, you have no way to follow this old man. Master. The Black Bear spirit knelt there, snot and tears running down his face as he begged. This little one has never told you, but this little one knows clearly in his heart that this little one is extremely lowly. Not only can this little one not compare to Brother Lu, I can't compare to Jianghu, I can't even compare to the Golden Eagle and White Lion. This little one was born in a very inconspicuous place in the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm. When this little one left the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm, I don't even remember what that place was called. This little one was bullied by the same race there, this little one couldn't even straighten his back. Later, this little one was bewitched by a human Confucian cultivator and traveled thousands of miles from the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm to the hidden Immortal Continent, to the Yu Province's Black Wind Ridge. Before seeing Master, this little one always thought that this path was the result of this little one's own choice, the result of this little one's own strength. However, after seeing Master, this little one realized that no matter what choice, no matter how hard he worked, it was all arranged by someone else. This little one carried the stigma of a so-called Demon King and became someone else's chess piece. However, Master, you didn't despise this little one. Although you let this little one guard the cave abode for Master, in reality, you treated this little one as an equal. This little one knows clearly. At that time, this little one was really happy and wanted to do things for Master and win glory for Master. Back then, to be honest with Master, this little one relied on Master to become the leader of the 3 Demon Kings. This little one was very nervous. This little one knew that Master didn't like people using Master's name to do things, so this little one tried his best to cultivate, not daring to tarnish Master's name. After that, Master also gave this little one many benefits, but this little one didn't live up to your expectations. This little one isn't any cultivation material, and also doesn't have any ambitions. To be able to meet Master in this life is this little one's fortune. This little one really doesn't ask for anything else. As long as this little one can accompany Master, this little one will definitely accompany Master. When Master ascends, no matter where Master is after Master leaves, this little one will make a big cave abode with Master's statue inside. Then this little one will make a small cave outside the cave abode. This little one is lazy and may not kowtow to Master every day, but this little one will definitely guard outside Master's cave abode, day and night, guarding the cave abode for Master at all times. Xiaohua's eyes were moist again. He opened his mouth, but words of comfort, words of encouragement, seemed to have turned into nothingness in front of the Black Bear spirit. He only nodded slightly. Thank you, Master. The Black Bear spirit grinned and jumped up from the ground. He laughed, tears overflowing from the bear's eyes. Master. The Golden Eagle and White Lion at the side didn't know what to do, so they could only ask in a low voice. Everyone has their own path. Xiaohua waved his hand and said, Your aptitudes are better than the Black Bear spirit. In the future, stay here and be Demon Kings. Yes, Master. The Golden Eagle and White Lion knelt down and kowtowed. We definitely won't dare to disgrace Master's name. At this time in the distant sky, a faint brilliance flashed. The Celestials had already activated the Kunlun Mirror and sent the Fortune Gate disciples building the city into the Xinhua continent. Moreover, the Lightning Taoist and the others rushed into the sky, each standing at a different part of the capital star array and plentiful sun demon devouring immortal array. Their hands formed seals and magic power fell on various parts of the array like dragons. A loud rumble sounded, and brilliant light like waves crashed in all directions within 1,000 li wherever the light passed. The city that was built over several months was gradually covered by the light. After a few breaths, the city was gone, and the slightly flat terrain from before was revealed in the light. Xiao Hua's divine sense swept over and knew that the matter was done. Was time to leave. Thus he nodded at the golden eagle, white lion and the others. He wanted to say something again, but when he thought about it, the golden eagle and white lion were not ordinary demonic beasts. They were already demon kings in the Thousand Beasts sacred territory, and here they would be like fish in water. Thus he did not need to say much. Thus he only said, "Okay, you all pay attention to your own safety. This lowly one understands." From these few words, the golden condor and white lion could feel Xiao Hua's deep concern. They instantly understood the reason behind the black bear spirit's choice, and their hearts were filled with regret. Unfortunately, when they raised their heads, the black bear spirit was gone, Li Xiang was gone, Xiongyi was gone, and Xiao Hua and the others were nowhere to be seen. The only ones left in front of them were the Fortune Gate's disciples. "Master." The golden eagle and white lion shouted as if they had lost something. However, in the howling wind in the sky there was no response. Sai, why bother? The Thunderbolt Venerable, who had already flown far away, could sense that Xiao Hua was in a bad mood. He sighed and said, "Wouldn't it be better to take them all into the Xinhua continent? If it was that simple, fellow Taoist Xiao wouldn't have to go through so much trouble." Feng Wu explained, "You and fellow Taoist Xiao are both Taoist cultivators, while we are from the demon race, devil race, Confucian sect and Buddhist sect. If these Fortune Gate disciples are outside of this space, they will naturally have the fortune to ascend. However, if they are inside the Xinhua continent, their fates will not be governed by the laws of heaven and earth of the four great continents. No one knows what their future will be like. Then what should we do?" The Thunderbolt Venerable was distressed when he heard this, and his face was filled with reluctance. "Don't tell me. We have to send all the Xinhua continent disciples to the other three continents?" The Fortune Gate on the Xinhua continent was not so much created by Xiao Hua as it was by the Thunderbolt Venerable. The Thunderbolt Venerable had poured more effort into these disciples than Xiao Hua, and he could not help but be concerned about their future. "I will also be very conflicted." Xiao Hua himself did not have an answer and could only smile bitterly. "Because we are about to ascend, the change in the laws of heaven and earth. I don't know if it will affect the Xinhua continent. If it was before I met Senior Su Ji, I would not hesitate to let them. And even let Lu Yi and the others stay in the Xinhua continent. However, the change in the laws of heaven and earth, and the infusion of immortal qi, all have unpredictable variables. Cannot guarantee that the Xinhua continent will not change, so I am very afraid that the entire space will be destroyed and reformed as Senior Su said. Give a monthly vote, a recommendation vote, a bookmark, a tip, and thank all forms of support." Chapter 4797. That shouldn't be the case. Feng Wu answered without hesitation. After all, Xinhua continent has been to the upper realm before. That's old news. Xiao Hua stopped Feng Wu and shook his head. When we went to the upper realm, it was because of the heavenly prison. It was different from the laws of heaven and earth. Ascension is a process of transformation. Who can guarantee that the changes in the laws of heaven and earth won't affect Xinhua continent? Then, fellow Taoist, how do you plan to decide the fate of Xinhua continent's Fortune Gate disciples? Let them choose for themselves? Huang Tong's words hit the nail on the head. She looked at Xiao Hua meaningfully. Xiao Hua sighed deeply. "I can't let them choose. Needless to say, no matter who faces death, they will find the dawn of life." Namo Maitreya Buddha. Maitreya Buddha chanted. "So Bodhisattva's choice is to send all the people of Xinhua continent to Dawn Rain continent?" "To be honest," Xiao Hua answered, "I really want to, but I don't dare." "Sigh, of course you don't dare," Thunderbolt Immortal said. "That's hundreds of millions of people. If you send them out, it will be more than all the cultivators of Dawn Rain continent combined." Xiao Hua touched his nose and said, "This is my confusion and worry. Let's take it one step at a time." Thunderbolt Immortal was also helpless. After fellow Taoist entered the 10,000 demon realm, didn't the laws of heaven and earth of Xinhua continent change? Maybe there will be a surprise in the future. I hope so. In the face of the laws of the heavens and earth, Xiao Hua felt that he was like an ant, and he could only resign himself to fate. As he spoke, Xiao Hua took the Kunlun mirror from the celestial, but before he could activate it, the sound of bamboo suddenly resounded throughout the heavens and the earth. After that, hundreds of millions of flowers appeared out of thin air. At the same time, over 10 dragons and phoenixes appeared in midair while waves of golden threads descended like rain from above Xiaohua and the others. The space of more than 100 miles was immediately confined. Xiaohua and many of his clones were frozen in the air. Not to mention sound, even their thoughts were difficult to move. Then, in front of Xiaohua and the others' eyes, a myriad of phenomena appeared. Whether it was farmers plowing the fields, mulberry people raising silkworms, fishermen fishing, hundreds of scholars chanting, thousands of Buddhas chanting, or the birth and death of 10,000 countries. In short, all sorts of worldly affairs and the myriad phenomena of the human world appeared before Xiaohua's eyes. In addition to the aura of the mortal world, there were also 2 dragons playing with a pearl, 9 dragons hanging in the sky, and 10,000 dragons dancing in the sky. Naturally, at the same time, a type of incense that Xiaohua had smelled earlier appeared around him. Ah? Open the heavens? Xiaohua suddenly realized that the scene in front of him was so familiar. Wasn't this the strange phenomenon that appeared when he sent the disciples of the Misty School to the valley back in the great desolate continent? Sure enough, with this strange phenomenon, the crystal-like divine spark behind Xiaohua's head began to rotate mysteriously. Every time the crystal-like divine spark rotated, it would grow a little bigger. Every time it grew bigger, the golden light that appeared was like a sharp thorn that pierced into the nearby void. Then, everything that he experienced in the great desolate continent appeared again. The strange fragrance assailed his nostrils. The various discomforts that he experienced when he entered the 10,000 demon realm, the impact and comprehension of the laws of heaven and earth, the doubts that arose from the discussion in the Star Moon Palace, and the comprehension of the mysterious Yuan space profound technique brought by Huang Tong were all absorbed and digested by the strange fragrance. The origin of wood, the origin of wind, the origin of thunder and so on also began to completely merge. After an unknown amount of time, king. Once again, a series of sounds of bamboo pipes resounded from an unknown place. Among these sounds of bamboo pipes, pillars of Aoran Chi emerged like a sky-reaching mountain peak and frantically fell into the void. That originally ice-cold Aoran Chi immediately became gentle. The Xiantian Chi in Xiaohua's body rushed out like a tide and merged with this Aoran Chi. Along with this Aoran Chi, the cultural history of hidden immortal continent, the cultural essence also entered the Aoran Chi. The Aoran Chi gradually came to life. Dang. For a moment, another sound like the ringing of a Buddhist bell came from the void. In between the ringing of the bell, countless tiny power of faith seeped into the Aoran Chi from the void, and pieces of Buddhist light drifted in like catkins. Namo Maitreya Buddha. The imprisoned Maitreya Buddha suddenly chanted, and the Dharma golden body of the future Buddha appeared. The swastika, that had disappeared in the space of the 10,000 demon realm appeared again, supporting his Buddha statue. As the swastika rotated, cracks appeared on the Buddha statue of the future Buddha, and then it turned into little spots of Buddhist light. Each spot of Buddhist light was like the birth and destruction of a Buddhist kingdom, disappearing into the space of the 10,000 demon realm along with the river of faith. Roar. As the Buddhist light disappeared, another series of dragon roars came from the void. Thousands of dragon shadows crazily crashed into the void, and layers of dragon marks fell like falling snow. A vision even greater than the one when Reverend Yun broke the curse of the dragon clan appeared out of nowhere. Inside Reverend Yun's body, who was lying motionless in the sky, a huge Dharma image of the dragon god emerged, and all kinds of auspicious signs sank into the earth and the sky along with the dragon shadow, disappearing into every corner of the 10,000 demon realm. Boom. After the awe-inspiring energy, the river of faith, and the dragon marks emerged, whether it was the natural energy, the awe-inspiring energy, or even the energy of the stars and the moon, all kinds of natural energy crashed into the space of over 100 miles, tearing apart the flying flowers. The flying flowers roared and danced in the air, turning into a hurricane that fell into the bodies of Xiaohua's many incarnations. After the time it took to eat a meal, when the flying flowers were all gone, the sounds, the forms, and even the light and shadows shrank and fell into Xiaohua's body crazily. Clang. The sound of a harp breaking rang out. Dong. The Buddhist bell also rang. Roar. The dragon god's shadow roared, and all the light and shadows and illusions disappeared in this sound. Finally, an indescribable light and shadow appeared out of nowhere in the 10,000 demon realm. It was so huge that it looked like the entire world. It swept across the sky and turned into a ray of golden light that fell into the crystal-like godhead behind Xiaohua's head. When this golden light fell, the crystal-like godhead that had turned into a soybean-sized godhead completely stilled and disappeared into the void in an instant. I'm ashamed. At this time Xiaohua's body could already move. His face was full of shame as he spoke. He bowed deeply to the heavens and earth and whispered, "What virtue and ability did this Xiao have? It was just an immoral act, but it was actually rewarded by the heavens. This Xiao is really ashamed to receive it." Namo Maitreya Buddha. Maitreya Buddha also knelt on the ground and put his palms together. This disciple is really ashamed. This disciple's second transformation golden body will definitely fall into this place to spread the Buddha's light and impart the Buddha's supreme dharma. Previously, although Xiaohua and his incarnations had high cultivation, their realms were not deep enough, and their understanding of the power of the heavens and earth was shallow. They did not understand the merit of splitting open the sky. Now that they had reached the 10th level of origin power, they had the ability to glimpse the heavens and understand the vastness of the heavens and earth. They had nothing to do and their hearts were filled with reverence. Now that they had received the merit of splitting open the sky, how could they not know that this was a gift from the heavens? Each of them put away their arrogance and respected the heavens and earth with their hearts. After a while Maitreya Buddha stood up. Xiaohua and the others looked at each other. Besides reverence and gratitude, they were also a little surprised. Huang Tong asked, "Xiaohua, I did not participate in the matter of the upper realm of the Eldritch continent. However, Fengwu has just told me that there were no humans in the Eldritch continent at that time. You brought the disciples of the incense order from the ruins to the Eldritch continent. Not only did you inherit the orthodoxy of the Tao sect, but you also inherited the fireworks of the human race. Although you did not create humans for no reason, the merit of inheriting the incense of the human race is real. The heavens recognized it as the merit of splitting open the sky and multiplying the Godhead. However, today, although there are no humans in the 10,000 demon realm, but the 10,000 demon realm has existed for tens of thousands of years. How could the human race not appear in the 10,000 demon realm? There is also the dragon race. Although the dragon race does not exist in the 10,000 demon realm now, since the law of heaven and earth forbids the dragon race from appearing, it means that the dragon race used to exist in the 10,000 demon realm. When Reverend Yun broke the law of heaven and earth, he revealed the shadow of the sacred beast, which must be related to the disappearance of the dragon race. In that case, when we sent the human race, the dragon race and the demon race into the 10,000 demon realm, it should not be considered as the beginning of the merit. Namo Maitreya Buddha. Maitreya Buddha nodded and said, "What Tanyu thinks is also what I think. That's why I feel that the heavens and earth are really generous to us." Xiaohua thought for a while and said, "Perhaps there were humans and dragons in the past, but after all, they were all annihilated later on. Now that we have brought the human race and the dragon race into the 10,000 demon realm again, and we have set up a big formation and built a big city, I think the human race and the dragon race will definitely prosper in the 10,000 demon realm in the future, and will never be annihilated again. That's why there is such a strange phenomenon, right?" Huang Tong had never experienced such a rare opportunity, so it was inevitable that he would ask more questions in excitement. Although Xiaohua's answer was not very clear, Huang Tong felt that it was reasonable. When he wanted to ask something else, Xiaohua's face suddenly changed. He released his divine sense and looked to the left and whispered, "Not good. Previously, when we broke through to the 10th grade in the Bo Wasteland, the 10,000 demon realm Saint ranking found out. Although the Bo Wasteland is remote, the colorful Phoenix King still sent a Phoenix emissary to welcome us. Now that we have achieved the merit of opening the sky here, and there is a strange phenomenon of heaven and earth, we might be noticed by some great saint in the 10,000 demon realm, and it might bring disaster to the human race. How can we just leave like that?" "That's right." Thunder Immortal nodded and said, "We will stay here and observe the changes first." After that, Xiaohua and the others did not leave in a hurry. Instead, they hid their figures and stayed nearby. On one hand, they comprehended everything that they had just obtained from the merit of opening the sky, and on the other hand, they were prepared to welcome the possible changes that might come. This wait lasted for more than half a year. Chapter 4798. Seeing that nothing unusual had happened within tens of thousands of miles in the last half a year, and that the humans in the formation were already in order, Xiaohua gradually felt relieved. He smiled and said to Buddha Maitreya Buddha Sizun and the others, "Perhaps I am being paranoid. When we broke through the 10th grade of essence power, we happened to encounter the so-called saint list in the demon realm, which could engrave our names on it through the laws of heaven and earth. Now that we're opening the sky, The laws of heaven and earth should be more mysterious than the previous saint list. The great saint of the demon realm may not be aware of it. We can't stay here for long. Why don't we let Taoist Witch leave a soul consciousness mark in the capital star array, and we'll leave first. Once the capital star array is activated, there will be an enemy invasion. We can also come here with the method of going south and going north. Namo Maitreya. Buddha Maitreya and the others pondered for a moment, looked at Taoist Witch and smiled. It seems that's the only way. Thank you, Tanyu. Immediately, Taoist Witch and Thunder Immortal returned to the capital star array and left a soul consciousness mark. Xiaohua took out the Kunlun mirror and released the little white dragon. The little white dragon flew out of the space and immediately shouted, "Big brother, are we here?" Xiaohua was in a bad mood. He rolled his eyes at the little white dragon and said, "Even you don't know the location of the demon realm, how can I know?" The little white dragon looked around and laughed. "Big brother, who are you lying to? I don't dare to talk about other brothers, but with your handsome temperament, which female cultivator won't be impressed by your temperament? Which female cultivator won't tell you the truth when they see you? This place is obviously different from what we saw before. Big brother must have found the direction." Xiaohua looked at the little white dragon and nodded. "You know, you're right. This place is already the edge of the gathering place of the spirit clan, which is the so-called spirit realm. I've finished my business and am now ready to go to the Metal and Wood Mountain. Now I want to ask if you know the location of the Metal and Wood Mountain." When Xiaobai heard this, he immediately patted his chest and said, "No problem, as long as you tell me the location, I'll tell you the location of the Metal and Wood Mountain." Xiaohua smiled slightly and threw the realm sense to the little white dragon and said, "See for yourself. This has our location and the general location of the demon realm. However, there is no such thing as the Metal and Wood Mountain." Impossible. Little white dragon's confidence was doubted and he was a little angry. But after taking the world sense and looking at it carefully, he couldn't help but feel discouraged. This was because there were many records of the demon realm and there were also many names of places. However, there was no record of the Metal and Wood Dual Boundary Mountain. There wasn't even a name that he was familiar with. That. Big brother, maybe I remembered wrongly? Little white dragon began to find excuses for himself. Xiaohua withdrew his realm sense and said with a smile, "We'll talk about this later. Big brother called you out to tell you something. The descendants of the various clans that Big brother brought from the 3 continents have all been arranged. What do you think we should do about the descendants of the 7-colored sea god shells and your descendants?" She hasn't mentioned the descendant of the ancestor. Seems like she doesn't value him too much. Big brother, just do as you see fit. Little white dragon replied, "As for my descendants, they will naturally follow me. There is no doubt about that." That's the problem. Xiaohua reminded, "If we go to the Dawn Rain continent, we may not be able to return to the 10,000 demon realm. And you know that the Dawn Rain continent is where the human clan is at its peak. It is far from a paradise for the demon clan like the 10,000 demon realm. You have to decide whether to stay in the 10,000 demon realm or the Dawn Rain continent." Little white dragon wailed, "Why is it so troublesome?" "Now it depends on your choice." Xiaohua still habitually wanted to use the word choice, but just as he said it, he thought of the black bear spirit's words. He couldn't help but take it back. After thinking for a while, he said, "It depends on what you think. Let's finish the ancestors' matter first." Little white dragon said impatiently, "I'll go back and discuss my matter with them. We'll talk about it later." Xiaohua nodded and said, "You go back and discuss it. I'll send the descendant of the 7-colored sea god shells away first." Then Xiaohua put little white dragon into the space. After Taoist Witch and the Thunderbolt Immortal returned, they sent the descendant of the 7-colored sea god shells into the Azure Sea. Then they looked at the direction and rushed to the place where the spirit clan gathered. In fact, Xiaohua's worries were not unfounded. When the heaven-splitting merit vision of the human clan in the 10,000 demon realm appeared, neither the colorful Phoenix King of the Phoenix Shrine nor the Fire Phoenix King of the 10,000 demon realm who accompanied the Swift Cherry Grand Sage from the Huatian realm noticed it. However, when the last light flashed across the 10,000 demon realm, in a huge mysterious space, a human-shaped shadow that was originally sitting cross-legged suddenly appeared. This human-shaped shadow was not complete. It was scattered and there were strange distortions between each piece. Within each piece of shadow, there were different degrees of dark light trembling. As the human figure was revealed, countless strands of bright silver immortal chi emerged from the void and rushed into the shadows like little snakes. A moment later, a silhouette that was several thousand feet tall appeared in the space, flashing with silver light. The silhouette's silver light was so bright that it covered the face of the human figure. The aura that this figure exuded was so fierce and vast that it shook the void until it collapsed. The human figure did not hesitate at all. His hands suddenly formed a seal, and the light shadow that had just rushed through the void seemed to reverse and fell toward the hands of the human figure. However, just as the light shadow fell on the hands of the human figure, the huge hand that could annihilate the void with a wave of the hand immediately produced a roar, and the huge silver hand collapsed and disappeared rapidly. Although the huge silver hand collapsed, the moment the light shadow came into contact with the huge silver hand, layers of overlapping petals appeared. As the petals trembled, the humanistic phenomenon that Xiaohua saw also fell into the eyes of the silver figure through the light shadow. Damn it! The silver figure roared angrily, and ripples appeared in the void near him. The ripples began to explode with the sound, and the entire void collapsed with the fury of the silver figure. Seeing that the huge silver hand was completely annihilated, the silver figure's arms shook, and the light shadow that had returned to the void disappeared again. Thousands of layers of immortal spiritual chi rushed into the silver figure's arms, and a pair of huge hands slowly appeared. However, at the same time, the silver light around the silver figure flashed several times. The moment the silver light dimmed, an unusually handsome face with sword-like eyebrows flashed in the mysterious space. At the root of the eyebrows, a scarlet mark that was much smaller than a green bean was particularly obvious. Oh, who is it? When the huge silver hand appeared, the silver figure's light shadow shone brightly, and an angry voice rose along with the collapse of the void. Who dares to snatch the heaven-splitting merit from the 10,000 demon realm before me? I came to the 10,000 demon realm with untold hardships, and just as I started to set up my plan, someone snatched it from me. All my previous efforts are now wasted. Who dares to ruin my Shin family's plans? In the time it took to brew a cup of tea, everything in the entire space except for the silver figure was collapsing and disappearing. When the space finally recovered, the silver light around the figure flickered rapidly again, like the breathing of a person when he was angry. The power of his voice was also much weaker. This time my actions are very secretive. It seems that no one from the immortal tribe knows about it. Could it be the damn Jiang family? Or the Ji family, Huang family, Hong family, Wen family, or Chong family? Could it be the Punishment Palace? Punisher Heavenly Master? No, if it was the Punishment Heavenly Master, he would have already sent the Punishment Emissary. These Heavenly Masters. How could they know the mystery of the heaven-splitting merit? It must be the Jiang family. Could it be that before I came to the 10,000 demon realm, the Jiang family had already set up a plan in this realm? That Yun Xian Grand Sage and Swift Cherry Grand Sage of the Origin clan are disciples of the Jiang family? If it's not the Jiang family, then which immortal clan is it? How could they have set up a plan before my Shin family? It's really strange. I didn't notice any abnormalities in this realm before. This immortal clan emissary hid too well. The silver figure sneered again. I don't care if you're the Jiang family or the Ji family, Huang family, Hong family, Wen family, or Chong family. In the 10,000 demon realm, you and I are equal. Under the confinement of the laws of heaven and earth, our supernatural powers are the same. Now that you're in the light and I'm in the dark, I will not let you succeed so easily. Then the silver figure made a gesture again, and as the immortal spiritual power rushed out, the void trembled and collapsed again. Even the silver light around the silver figure dimmed again. This phenomenon lasted for a few months, and in the end the silver brilliance dimmed until only a thin layer of light film was left. Oh! Seeing that the silver brilliance was about to be annihilated, the silver figure suddenly let out a long breath. The brilliance was like a candle being lit, and it lit up again. The silver figure cursed unwillingly in a low voice, "Damn this realm! My supernatural powers can't be activated at all. Besides, the natural virtues of creation are too obscure. The entire world is filled with the prosperity of the humankind. Who knows where exactly this life force comes from?" Jihao said with a deep voice. "Snow Wolf King." At this point, the silver figure shouted. The voice penetrated the void and turned into a layer of ripples before disappearing. Unfortunately, after waiting for a few days, there was no response. The silver figure became more and more furious. "Damn Snow Wolf King. Why can't you do anything well? You really disappoint me." The silver figure roared in the mysterious void, and pieces of void fragments were shaved off the surface of the void like powder. Chapter 4799. Back in the day I asked her to hunt down a little fox, but that little fox was just able to transform into a human form and she actually lost her. Now there are other immortals in this realm and she didn't even hear about it. I really don't know how she, the great saint of the demon realm, is doing. Is she worthy of the Shin clan's cultivation? The silver figure was roaring and an ice-like light and shadow appeared in the space. Then tens of thousands of ice flowers that were several times more dazzling than a peacock's tail spread out, and a path of ice flowers extended out in the space. Snow Wolf King's body moved and he stepped on the snow. Snow Wolf King. Seeing Snow Wolf King appear, the silver figure immediately roared, "Where did you go?" Snow Wolf King's body trembled and he actually stopped there. He looked up at the figure that was much bigger than him and coldly replied, "Do I need to report to you where I went?" The silver figure was furious and raised a hand to point at Snow Wolf King. A silver thunderbolt sealed the surrounding space, and directly struck towards Snow Wolf King's forehead. Oh! Before the thunderbolt landed, Snow Wolf King's fur suddenly stood up, and he opened his mouth to howl. A thick snow-colored beam of light shot out, and it hit the silver thunderbolt. Rumble. In the huge roar the space was split into two. One half was silver light, and the other half was snow-colored light dancing in the air. As the space trembled, a layer of distortion was born from the airwave. The two spaces completely separated the silver figure and Snow Wolf King. "Immortal Envoy, are you trying to punish me?" The Snow Wolf King laughed coldly as he watched the light of the silver figure in the other space disappear. Dark shadows suddenly appeared and it was difficult to maintain the human form in the space ripples. He could not help but say, "I don't know what I did wrong to make the Immortal Envoy so angry. But I still want to remind the Immortal Envoy that this is the 10,000 demon realm. Not to mention the Immortal Envoy's immortal realm, the Immortal Envoy can't even maintain his immortal body. What kind of supernatural power do you have to punish me with?" "Damn it." The Immortal Emissary scolded and pointed at Snow Wolf King. "Snow Wolf King, don't forget your place." "Hee hee." Snow Wolf King smiled and said, "I am the great sage of the demon realm. This king clearly remembers this identity. Furthermore, I don't have any ambitions. This is different from the Black Dot Tiger. Even if I can't ascend to the Demon League, I can still live freely in the demon realm." The Immortal Emissary was a little anxious. She stared at the Snow Wolf King and shouted, "Do you still remember what I told you when you were the Japanese emissary?" "Yeah." The Snow Wolf King looked at the Immortal Emissary in disdain and replied, "Of course I remember." "I'm afraid the Immortal Emissary has already forgotten. You and I are merely partners. There is no such thing as master and servant. You have no right to order me around. Furthermore, you do not have the right to punish this prince indiscriminately." The silver figure was silent for a moment. Then the silver light around his body shone brightly. Then the space he was in quickly expanded and connected with the space where the Snow Wolf King was. When the Snow Wolf King's figure was reflected in the silver light, he said faintly, "Since you don't want to join my Shin clan, then I have no other choice. I really don't understand. I don't know how many humans, demons, and sea clans want to be associated with my Shin clan, but why don't you want to? Don't you humans have a saying, everyone has their own ambitions?" The Snow Wolf King saw that the Immortal Emissary's tone had softened and was relieved. Then he changed the topic and said, "I have my own ideas. You just have to follow the agreement we made that day. No matter how much I do, you will give me the same amount of benefits." "All right." The silver figure sighed helplessly. "If that's the case, then I won't force you. In the future, if you fail to ascend or if you encounter any problems in the Demon League, you don't have to come to my Shin clan for help." The Snow Wolf King looked coldly at the silver figure. Instead of answering his words, he asked, "I wonder what happened that caused the Immortal Emissary to lose his composure? Since when did humans appear in the 10,000 demon realm?" The silver figure heard this and unconsciously became angry. He said anxiously, "Why didn't you come and report to me? That's strange." The Snow Wolf King was even more displeased. He replied, "Since when did the Immortal Emissary and I agree that I have to report to you when humans appear in the 10,000 demon realm?" The silver figure was a bit speechless. He hesitated and said, "You and I have an agreement. If there are any unusual movements in the 10,000 demon realm, you have to report to me immediately." "Yes." The Snow Wolf King replied, "There are indeed unusual movements in the 10,000 demon realm. Didn't I already come to report to you? An Immortal Emissary, don't forget this unusual movement. That day you and I made it clear that the so-called unusual is any movement that involves the immortal realm, the demon league and so on. It is not a movement of the 10,000 demon realm itself. There are no humans in the 10,000 demon realm. No, there are humans here. If they are not from the immortal realm, then where did they come from? The immortal emissary shouted in exasperation. Ah! The Snow Wolf King laughed. He looked at the immortal emissary's silver figure and said, "Immortal emissary, you think too highly of the 10,000 demon realm. How can there be humans from the immortal realm in the 10,000 demon realm? Besides, the light figure projected from the immortal realm doesn't seem to be a real human, right?" Oh. The immortal emissary looked nervous and said anxiously, "Could it be someone from another realm? Do you know who it is?" At this point, the immortal emissary stopped. He seemed to be afraid and did not want to let the Snow Wolf King know more. However, the Snow Wolf King did not care about the immortal emissary's avoidance. He replied faintly, "I don't know where this human came from. But this human is already on the 10,000 demon realm's saint list. I know his name is Xiaohua." Xiaohua. The immortal emissary heard and frowned. He thought to himself, as if he was trying to recall if there were any immortal clan with the surname Xiao in the immortal realm. The Snow Wolf King could not see through the immortal emissary's thoughts. He continued, "Together with Xiaohua from another realm, there are 2 from the Phoenix clan, 1 from the Dragon clan and 2 from the Spirit clan. These 6 are all listed on the saint list and have become great sages of the 10,000 demon realm." How is that possible? The immortal emissary did not seem to recall anything. When he heard the Snow Wolf King's words, he sneered, "Since when did the great sages of the 10,000 demon realm become so worthless? How can there be 6 great sages at the same time? Oh, that's not right. What? Why is there a dragon clan?" The Snow Wolf King shrugged and shook his head, "I don't know either. These 6 spirit clans either came to the 10,000 demon realm a long time ago and have been cultivating in seclusion. Now they have broken through the limit of the Sun realm and reached the Great Sage realm. Or they just crossed the realm barrier and began to break through as soon as they came to the 10,000 demon realm. This means that the realm they are in is much lower than the 10,000 demon realm." "Do you even need to say?" The immortal emissary said coldly, "The realms near the 10,000 demon realm are all lower in level than the 10,000 demon realm. Otherwise, how could I have come to the 10,000 demon realm? But because the realms in the 10,000 demon realm are higher in level, it is very difficult for the spirit clans in the nearby realms to enter the 10,000 demon realm, let alone survive in the 10,000 demon realm. It is very difficult, but it is not impossible." The Snow Wolf King replied, "The 10,000 demon realm and the nearby devil realm, Tao celestial realm, night spirit realm also have some unstable realm passageways. It is very likely that the spirit clans came from there." "Snow Wolf King, are you reminding me?" The immortal emissary retracted the silver light around him when the Snow Wolf King mentioned the devil realm. "No." The Snow Wolf King said firmly, "I know that the immortal emissary represents the Shen clan, and the Shen clan has the ability to save the wolf ancestor from the devil realm. I only mentioned the devil realm because I mentioned the realm passageway." "That's good." The immortal emissary was very satisfied and nodded, "As long as you work for the Shen clan, your wolf ancestor will definitely return to the 10,000 demon realm in one piece, and even ascend to the demon alliance." The Snow Wolf King seemed to have been hit in his weak spot and whispered, "I understand, that is why I am willing to work with the immortal emissary. That Xiaohua of the human race. What does he look like? Did he bring other humans to the 10,000 demon realm?" The immortal emissary could not reveal his intentions, so he could only ask indirectly. The Snow Wolf King shook his head, "I did not see Xiaohua of the human race, nor did I see the 6 spirit clan great sages that were just engraved on the saint rankings. Because other than these 6 spirit clan great sages in the past few years, there were 3 spirit clan great sages of even stranger origins. I am afraid that this matter will affect the immortal emissary's plan." Unfortunately, before the Snow Wolf King could finish, the immortal emissary hurriedly interrupted him and shouted, "What? There are 3 more great sages of unknown origins? Quick, tell me what is so strange about them." When the Snow Wolf King heard this, he understood that something must have happened in the 10,000 demon realm that he did not know about, and this matter seemed to have a lot to do with the immortal emissary's plan. She did not dare to delay, and told him about the abnormalities on the saint rankings when the demon lord Shur, the Sky Man and the witch priest became great sages. The immortal emissary roared again, damn it, this must be the work of that family. Only they would dare to reach out to the ancient war clan. Alright, if that is the case, then don't blame me for being rude. Snow Wolf King, how is the matter in the Huatian realm?" Good, immortal emissary, you know. The Snow Wolf King muttered in his heart, but he did not want to ask more, so he answered casually, the plan was executed smoothly, but who would have thought that there would be a change? I have already reported to the immortal emissary that the Swift Cherry Grand Sage and the Fire Phoenix King have already gone to the Hua Tian realm. All right. The immortal emissary was helpless and waved his hand. Let's see how the Swift Cherry Grand Sage will deal with it. Yes. The Snow Wolf King nodded. I have already sent capable subordinates to pay close attention to the situation in the Hua Tian realm. Chapter 4800. Sigh Snow Wolf King. The immortal emissary reminded him, haven't you found out who's going against you? Why are my plans going wrong one after another? If you don't find this demon, I'll consider stopping my cooperation with you. Snow Wolf King smiled. Immortal emissary, you don't have to threaten me with this. I don't believe that you didn't consider the other great sages before choosing to cooperate with me. Since you've chosen me, don't think about changing your mind. As for who's going against me, although I'm not sure, it can't escape the Great Ape King, Great Eagle King, and Divine Peacock Mother. Fine. The immortal emissary said impatiently, this is your 10,000 demon realms business, it's useless for you to tell me. The Hua Tian realms plan. Stop for now, don't let them know that it's your plan. Now I'm going to give you a more important task. Immortal emissary. Snow Wolf King reminded him faintly, I've just said that you and I are not master and servant, we're just partners. The things we discussed before didn't come to a conclusion, how can there be a new cooperation? I wonder what benefits the immortal emissary can give me? Snow Wolf King. The immortal emissary sneered, don't push your luck. Back then I asked you to hunt down a little fox and you let her escape to the Dao Heaven realm. Although you said that you sent your spiritual pet to hunt her down, and there's no reason for you to miss, I still haven't seen the little fox's corpse, and I haven't seen what I want. Also, what about the old ghost from the One Clan? I shattered his virtual body, but he managed to escape with a strand of his soul. You know, as long as there's a suitable body, that old ghost can easily be reborn and attack the wolf god realm again. At that time he'll be in the dark and you and I will be in the light. How can you deal with him? This matter is so important, but you still haven't found the whereabouts of that strand of soul. Tell me, even if I have any benefits, how can I give it to you? As for the matter of the Hua Tian realm, it's still the same. Now that it's messed up, what benefits can I give you? This envoy has already agreed to your conditions. Moreover, to tell you the truth, the devil world must have already taken action by now. Yet, you still can't give my Shin clan a satisfactory answer. How do you expect my Shin clan to believe you? The Snow Wolf King naturally had the intention of loosening the reins only to grasp them better. Now that the time was right, he smiled and said, in any case, once I complete the new task of the immortal emissary, will I fulfill our previous agreement? That's too easy. The immortal emissary understood what the Snow Wolf King was trying to say. He sneered, you can do it very easily. Just treat it as fulfilling our agreement of 30%. 30%? Haha, immortal emissary, you're really interesting. Is there anything in the demon realm that's worth me taking action only worth 30%? Snow Wolf King laughed, if there's not 70%, we don't have to talk anymore. The immortal emissary was not in a hurry. He smiled and said, you haven't heard it yet. How do you know it's worth 70%? What else could it be? Snow Wolf King sneered. Isn't it just killing that human great saint? Isn't that what you humans do all the time? That's true. The immortal emissary smiled. Killing 6 great saints together is definitely worth 70% of the agreement. Immortal emissary, you're wrong. Just one human great saint is worth 70% of the agreement. Snow Wolf King said seriously, 6 great saints, I'm definitely no match for them. Haha, but you're wrong. The immortal emissary smiled mysteriously and said, when did I say I wanted you to kill a human great saint? Snow Wolf King was surprised. Then what do you want me to do? Go to the western border of the demon realm. A large number of humans have appeared there. Kill them all. Leave no one alive. The immortal emissary said word by word. Snow Wolf King laughed and replied, after the appearance of a human great saint in the demon realm, a large number of humans have appeared. Who dares to say that these humans have nothing to do with the great saints? This task is worth 80% of the agreement. 50%. The immortal emissary thought for a moment and said, if you do it personally, I'll consider that you've fulfilled half of the agreement. When your spiritual pet brings back the little fox, my Shin clan will return you an intact wolf ancestor. Good. Snow Wolf King heard and could not help but be happy. He shouted loudly, "It's a deal, I'll lead my troops to the west of the demon realm." Good. The immortal emissary also clapped his hands. "It's a deal, I'll send a message to the demon realm." Snow Wolf King did not stay any longer. He stepped on the snow and rushed out of the space, leaving in a hurry. The immortal emissary looked at the ripples in the space after Snow Wolf King disappeared and said coldly, "Humph, damn Snow Wolf King, you dare to go against me. Do you think I can't see through your disloyalty? Do you think you can understand my Shin clan's divine ability? If not for the fact that you still have value, how could I allow you to be so rampant? Xiaohua? Which immortal clan's disciple are you?" Following this voice, the immortal emissary's silhouette gradually dimmed, and the entire space fell into darkness. After the immortal emissary's silhouette turned into a shadow, it began to scatter. Each shadow revealed a different degree of darkness and trembling. Moreover, between each shadow, there were all kinds of strange distortions that separated the space, just like before. Xiaohua did not know that he had been noticed by the Shin clan of the immortal realm. He flew for dozens of days, and the desolation and bleakness gradually decreased. Like the Star Moon Palace, there were more and more spirit clans, like the spring wind blowing through the trees, gradually appeared. The spirit race was somewhat different from the spirit world in Xiaohua's space. Many of the spirit races were 30% larger than usual. Moreover, whether it was the spirits of plants or the spirits of mountains, they all looked very mature. When they spoke, they were also very polite. Xiaohua had already put Feng Wu and the others into the space, and still kept a low profile. He and Huang Tong concealed their presence and image, and inquired about the Huatian realm and the Metalwood Mountain. This was not out of Xiaohua's expectations. There was no problem with the realm knowledge given by Phoenix Emissary Number 9. The location Xiaohua found was no different from the mark of the Huatian realm in the realm knowledge. But there was still no news about the Metalwood Mountain. If it was before, Xiaohua would have gone to the Huatian realm without hesitation, and directly found the space passage to the Dawn Rain continent. But now Xiaohua had to think again. Because breaking the immortal formation required toppling the 3 peaks of heaven, earth, and man, the 5 elements wishful heaven staff was indispensable. And Xiaohua was very eager to see what the real 5 elements wishful heaven staff looked like. So he could only find the Metalwood Mountain first, and then go to the Dawn Rain continent after being found by the metal and wood magnetism. After all, the Metalwood Mountain was the closest news to the metal and wood magnetism in so many years. After searching for dozens of days, there was still no news of the Metalwood Mountain. Xiaohua could only change his strategy, and began to search for the location in Little White Dragon's memory. Unfortunately, even the Gale Abyss in Little White Dragon's memory had no information. It was as if the Gale Abyss did not exist in the 10,000 demon realm. However, Xiaohua was not surprised at this time. He knew very well that even in the human race when he was young, if he found a Jianghu person in Yuzhou and asked them if they knew the Guizhuang house, or even Lu Town, the answer he got might not be as optimistic as this. So he thought for a while and released Little White Dragon from the Xinhua continent. Big brother. Little White Dragon saw Xiaohua, and his face unconsciously showed embarrassment and whispered, "Little brother, cough cough, I haven't discussed it with my family yet. Bibbo and the others want to stay in the 10,000 demon realm. She feels that she can't always trouble Big Brother, and staying in the Kunlun immortal realm is not a long-term solution, but other things." Unfortunately, before he finished, Xiaohua waved his hand and said, "That's your family's business. It's not too late to tell Big Brother when you have made a decision. At this time, Big Brother called you out to ask you to help Big Brother find the Gale Abyss." "Ah? It can't be, Big Brother." When he heard that Xiaohua was not asking him to stay in the 10,000 demon realm, Little White Dragon immediately raised his eyebrows and said, "Why haven't we found the Gale Abyss yet?" Hee. Seeing that Little White Dragon was doubting him, Xiaohua waved his hand and knocked him down from the sky and said with a smile, "You'll know when you ask." Okay. Little White Dragon's body tumbled through the air a few times, then it roared at the sky and charged towards a certain direction. Wherever the dragon passed, rocks were sent flying and trees were toppled. The weak spirit race cultivators all covered their heads and fled like rats. Huang Tong looked at Little White Dragon and said with some confusion, "Xiaohua, since our whereabouts have been discovered, there's no need to be so low-key. Why don't we just fly out and find the Phoenix Palace and the colorful Phoenix King? Searching here and there like this, I'm afraid it won't be effective." Xiaohua smiled and nodded. "The method you mentioned is the simplest and most violent method, and I'm afraid it's also the most effective. However, I've always been cautious and I don't like this kind of ostentatious method. Because we're not familiar with the 10,000 demon realm, who knows why the colorful Phoenix King is looking for us. Don't forget, she has already lost hundreds of Phoenix emissaries in order to find us. If she's willing to pay such a price, there must be something more important that she wants us to do. How can we have time to talk to her about this now? We're shouldering the lives of hundreds of millions of creatures in the 3 continents, and we can't get involved in the grievances of the 10,000 demon realm. So I don't want to find them. Moreover, we've left behind the descendants of the human race and dragon race in the 3 continents in the 10,000 demon realm, and we're afraid that these descendants will be discovered by them. If we go find them now, wouldn't it be easy to give ourselves away? It's better to come quietly and leave quietly, and no one will know where we're going or what we're doing here. When they find out in the future, the human race, demon race, and dragon race in the 3 continents will have become powerful, and we won't have to be afraid of them anymore. Donate, and thank you for all your support. Chapter 4801. Not necessarily. Huang Tong shook her head. There's no need to talk about the descendants of the human race. Who knows how many years it will take for a great saint to appear? Even for the demon race and the dragon race. It will take some time to produce a great saint. Who can guarantee that during this period of time, they will not be discovered by the great saints of the demon realm? Once they were discovered, Xiaohua would be a calamity to them. Since that's the case, we might as well show our strength and intimidate the great sages of the demon realm. Let them understand that the descendants of the 3 continents are not to be bullied. Whoever dares to touch a finger of theirs will have their arms cut off the next time we come. You're talking nonsense. Feng Wu flew out of the space and laughed. If he could start a war like this, he wouldn't be the merciful bodhisattva of Nanwu. Xiaohua helplessly laughed and said, I always feel that the less trouble there is, the better. Let's hurry and find the metal and wood elemental magnetism, then quickly find the space passage to the Dawn Rain continent. After all, we don't have much time left. Just as they were talking, little white dragon whizzed over and called out, Big brother. How is it? Xiaohua asked, Is there any news about the Gale Abyss or the Metal and Wood Mountain? Even with Big Brother's ability, you can't find the Gale Abyss. How can I find it? Little White Dragon smiled and said, However, I just asked some of the spirit race and have a plan in mind. The Gale Abyss that I'm at is originally a small place and not very famous. The demon realm is so big, unless it's near, I'm afraid no spirit race will know about it. Also, I left the demon realm with Minghua for a long time. Maybe that place has changed its name. I'm afraid it's not possible to find it just by relying on a few names. Xiaohua looked at Little White Dragon with a smile on his face, and he didn't seem to be depressed. He already knew that this fellow had already found out some information, so he simply said, Little White, you don't have to hide anymore. Have you found the Metal and Wood Dual Boundary Mountain? No. Little White Dragon answered resolutely, but in the blink of an eye he smiled and said, However, I already have some clues as to where my home is. As long as we can find my home, the Gold and Wood Dual Boundary Mountain shouldn't be too far away. That's right. Since it's your home, there are always some details that you don't usually pay attention to. Even if you tell others everything about your home, they may not be able to find your home based on this information. Huang Tong sighed. But if I let you search for it yourself, many details that you don't pay attention to will come to your mind for no reason. It will be very easy to find your home. This big brother. Little White Dragon looked at Huang Tong, who was also a wanderer, in admiration. He exclaimed, You are really amazing. Because of this, I found a few so-called knowledgeable spirit race clansmen. None of them knew about the Gale Abyss, much less the Metal and Wood Mountain range. But this little brother suddenly remembered that there was a place called Spirit Gathering Ground not far from the Gale Abyss. This little brother had never been to that place before, but this little brother vaguely remembered that it was a place that this little brother had always wanted to visit when he was young. Even when this little brother obtained the dragonization ability, it was also something that happened when he secretly went to the Spirit Gathering Ground. Xiaohua was speechless when he saw the word Spirit Gathering appear in Little White Dragon's mind. He could only express his sympathy because he knew clearly in his heart that he and Little White Dragon were truly a pair of brothers in distress. So he patiently asked, Then this Spirit Gathering Ground, what is it? At the mention of Spirit Gathering Ground, Little White Dragon was obviously a little excited. He said, Big brother, this little brother was a very ordinary python when I was young. In the Gale Abyss, I was often bullied by other pythons, so this little brother has always wanted to cultivate and become a demon-level expert. That Spirit Gathering Ground is where the competition for demon-level experts is. This little brother has always wanted to go to Spirit Gathering Ground and obtain the title of Demon-level expert. Xiaohua smiled and asked, "Then do you know what the title of Demon-level expert is?" "Of course I know." Little White Dragon said proudly. "Isn't it just a big demon, a medium demon, and a small demon?" How could this little brother still put demon-level titles in his eyes? This little brother wants to get a heaven-level title. What is a heaven-level title? Huang Tong asked with interest. This little white dragon was a little speechless. When Xiaohua heard this, he knew that little white dragon probably didn't even know what a demon-level title was. Back then he only had the ambition to stand out and blindly went to Spirit Gathering Ground. It was only by chance that he obtained the dragon transformation art. Then it was a blessing in disguise. He met Minghua and stepped on the path of cultivation. How similar was this to him back then? As for the big demon, medium demon, and small demon that little white dragon mentioned, he probably just heard it from the other spirit clans. And the spirit clans here were all weak. Presumably, they also didn't know the title of Dust Expert or World-Dominating Brute Demon, right? You left the 10,000 demon realm for a long time. It's normal that you don't know. Xiaohua smiled and simply explained the 3 ranks of demon-level experts. Then he asked, "Could it be that you didn't ask about the location of the Gale Abyss and instead asked about the location of Spirit Gathering Ground?" Little White Dragon heard this and smiled bitterly. "How could it be that easy, big brother? This 10,000 demon realm is beyond my imagination. I just found the location of a medium demon. It is said that this medium demon participated in the demon-level title competition. He probably knows some of the places to compete for titles. Maybe he knows the location of Spirit Gathering Ground." Sigh maybe. Huang Tong was a little impatient and sighed, "This method of inquiry. I don't think it's good. There's no point in wasting time here." Fellow Xiao. Feng Wu also suggested, "Since we can't find the Gale Abyss, we might as well go to the Huatian realm first. After all, this is one of our goals. Maybe when we reach the Huatian realm, it will be easier for us to find the Metal and Wood Dual Realm Mountain." Xiaohua nodded and smiled. Indeed. Although Little White Dragon doesn't know where the Gale Abyss is, he stayed in the Huatian realm before. I think the Huatian realm isn't too far from the Gale Abyss. Hearing this, Little White Dragon hesitated and interrupted Xiaohua's words. He said embarrassedly, "Big brother, how far is the Gale Abyss from the Huatian realm? I really don't know." And at that time it was Minghua. When he was traveling, he passed by the Spirit Gathering Ground and met me. After that, I left the Gale Abyss and never returned. That Metal and Wood Dual Realm Mountain. In my memory, it should be an extremely dangerous place near the Gale Abyss. Many experts in my clan died there, so I have a deep impression of it. Hearing up to this point, Xiaohua's heart thumped, and he felt a trace of unease. He hurriedly asked, "Little White Dragon, what you mean is, this Metal and Wood Dual Boundary Mountain was an extremely dangerous place when you were young, but actually, it might not be truly dangerous? In other words, the real Metal and Wood Dual Realm Mountain might not be there. It can even be said that the Jade Eye that Grand Mist Ancestor took out is very likely fake. The name of the place is also fake. It's just that it matches the place in your memory." Big brother is looking for the Metal and Wood Dual Realm Mountain. Little White Dragon suddenly realized and smiled bitterly. How could there be Metal and Wood Dual Realm Mountain in such a remote place like the Gale Abyss? Also, there is no space passage between the 10,000 Demon Realm and the 3 mainlands. How could an unknown place in the 10,000 Demon Realm appear in the 3 mainlands? And coincidentally, Grand Mist Ancestor found out about it? Forget it. Xiaohua finally figured it out. Recently, he had been in too much of a hurry because of the world-exterminating ephemera of the 3 mainlands. Moreover, the method to break the array in the space passage to the 10,000 Demon Realm was too rushed. In order to rush for time, he did not discuss it carefully with Little White Dragon. The Metal and Wood Dual Realm Mountain that Grand Mist Ancestor mentioned and the Metal and Wood Dual Realm Mountain that Little White Dragon mentioned only had the same name. "I'm sorry, big brother." Little White Dragon hurriedly smiled and said, "It's all because I asked less. Otherwise, big brother wouldn't have wasted so much time here." "Haha, of course it's not your fault." Although Xiaohua was disappointed in his heart, he still forced a smile and said, "It's big brother's fault for not thinking it through. Also, I'm afraid you will have to suffer this time. When we reach the 10,000 Demon Realm, I can't help you find the Gale Abyss. You won't even be able to see your own home." Xiaohua did not deliberately hide the disappointment in his eyes. Little White Dragon saw it clearly and hurriedly waved his hand and said, It's okay, I haven't been back for a long time. Even if I go back, no one will know me now. It doesn't matter if I go back or not. Big brother, you should hurry to the Huatian realm. Alright big brother, can you not always let me stay in the Kunlun immortal realm? No matter what, when I reach the 10,000 demon realm, let me see what the 10,000 demon realm is like. Haha, of course. Huang Tong flapped her wings and rapped Little White Dragon. She laughed and said, Xiaohua is not Minghua. He doesn't want to hide anything from you and doesn't want you to know anything. Let's go. Xiaohua looked at Feng Wu and sighed in his heart. After struggling for so long, it was still like drawing water with a bamboo basket. He didn't know when the 5 elements wishful heaven cudgel would be successfully refined. Then Xiaohua moved and followed Feng Wu and Huang Tong to the Huatian realm. The Huatian realm was naturally within the gathering area of the spirit clan. It was also very far from the border of the spirit realm. After flying for several months, they flew over the mountains and the endless desert, but they did not see any particularly powerful spirit clan. From time to time, there would be some ignorant earth-stage demon clan flying out from the ground, wanting to stop Xiaohua and the other uninvited guests who had rashly rushed into their territory. However, when Feng Wu released the will of the Supreme Saint, those demon clan members were all trembling like a sieve. They could not fly or escape. Why would Xiaohua and the others care about these boring provocations? Their figures swayed and they had already flown out of sight, allowing those demon clan members to breathe a sigh of relief. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.